Si Wenshin hung up the phone. Shi Shujing had booked a flight ticket for 2 hours later. It was 7 o'clock the next morning when they returned to Flozhen City. Shi Shujing slept on the plane. She was probably too tired and slept very soundly. When she got off the plane, she was still in good spirits and went straight to the company. When she entered the elevator, she found that Qin Baiyuan was also there. Their eyes met and she felt a little uncomfortable. Qin Baiyuan treated her like air. Every time they appeared together, the surrounding atmosphere became a little strange, especially in the elevator. Even standing at the front, Shi Shujing could still feel the various gazes from all directions. The atmosphere was unusual, as if everyone was holding their breath. Back at the office it was like a battle. Shi Shujing reorganized a little and began to busy herself. She had been on vacation for 12 days and a lot of things had piled up. She was busy until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then she breathed a sigh of relief. The secretary informed her to go to the director's office. Qin Yuning had brewed tea and was waiting for her to come. He warmly welcomed her. "How is it? Are you relaxed after such a long vacation?" Shi Shujing nodded. She felt very ashamed when she faced him. Qin Baiyuan had agreed to the divorce. Now she only needed to lay her cards on the table with Qin Yuning. However, how could Shi Shujing open his mouth when he was a loving elder like his father? The words were already on the tip of his tongue, but he couldn't say them. The more he held back, the heavier his mood became. "What are you thinking about?" No, nothing. The Henry Group's project failed." Qin Yuning snorted coldly. "I knew it. If I handed it to that evil creature, he would definitely not be able to complete it. He would drag us down. Actually, this matter is not entirely Qin Baiyuan's fault. Don't speak up for him. How can I not know whether he has a future or not?" Qin Yuning shook his head. "It's all my fault that I didn't teach him personally. A loving mother leads to a prodigal son. Look at how spoiled he is now. This is outrageous. It's getting more and more outrageous. Let's not talk about him. Shi Shujing, this time, Dad asked you to come here because he has an important matter to discuss with you." Qin Yuning handed her a document. Shi Shujing opened it and saw that it was a share transfer certificate. She looked at him strangely. Qin Yuning motioned for her to read it. Shi Shujing was stunned by the contents. "You want to transfer 30% of the shares in your hands to me?" As far as she knew, Yin Jingqi and Qin Baiyuan jointly owned only 20% of the shares, while Qin Yuning originally had more than 60% of the shares. Now, the situation had completely changed from him monopolizing the power to a three-way division of power. Qin Yuning nodded. "This is a decision I made after careful consideration. You also know that Qin Baiyuan married you for the position, but he is too brainless to do things. I really don't feel at ease handing the company over to him. I think, before he is fully mature and can take responsibility, you can look after him for me. I am indeed a little powerless. No, I don't accept it." Shi Shujing hurriedly pushed the transfer certificate back, as if it was a hot potato. "I can't take these shares. Just treat it as temporarily helping me manage it. No matter what." Shi Shujing was now determined to get a divorce. Even if he couldn't open his mouth at the moment, it would only be a matter of a few days. He already owed Qin Yuning too much, and with the addition of these shares, it was even more unclear. "I'm sorry, I really can't agree to this." At the shareholders' meeting on Monday morning, Shi Shujing attended for the first time. Qin Yuning announced the decision to transfer the shares to her, causing an uproar. It was no wonder that the shareholders couldn't accept it. That was 30% of the shares and tens of billions of yuan. How could it be transferred to a woman so rashly? Even a daughter-in-law wouldn't be so intimate. After the shareholders went into an uproar, they firmly opposed it. Yin Jingqi was especially emotional, but Qin Yuning's attitude was very firm. In the end, she could only let it go. After the meeting, Shi Shujing was called to the office by Qin Baiyuan. As soon as she entered the door, a stack of documents flew towards her and smashed into the door behind her. She was shocked. Qin Baiyuan suddenly stood up and rushed over, shouting in front of her. "What do you mean by this? Didn't we agree on a divorce? Why do you want the Qin family's shares?" Shi Shujing's reaction was very calm. "Dad wanted to give it to me, I don't want it either." "What a joke, he begged to give you tens of billions. If you tell him about the divorce, would he still give it to you?" Previously he said it nicely, divorce, leave the family and even give me compensation, but now? Do you regret it? Your adulterer doesn't want you anymore, so you made a move on blue sky? All right. I pity you. If you want money, I can give it. But 30% of the shares, dream on. Qin Baiyuan was so angry that his face was cramping, and he went berserk in front of her. You're really asking for an exorbitant price. 30% of the shares. Do you know what that means? This is the reason why you want to marry me even if you have to die? Just for the shares? Or is your adulterer's company going bankrupt, and you want to use Blue Sky's money to save his life? *CK. Don't even think about it. As long as I'm here, don't even think about getting a single share of Blue Sky. Shi Shujing's ears hurt from his shouting, and she was a little impatient. What can you do if you don't agree? The shares are already under my name. I said I won't take it, I'm just temporarily keeping it for Blue Sky. Keep it? Is this your excuse to lie to Dad? Keep it, and it becomes Shi Shujing's, right? Who do you think you are? What right do you have to keep the shares for Blue Sky? Go and tell Dad now, ask him to give me the shares. If you want to say it, do it yourself. I'm very busy, and I don't have time to fool around with you. Shi Shujing turned around to leave, but Qin Baiyuan grabbed her arm and pushed her against the wall. The back of her head hit the wall, and with a bang, her vision went black and she almost couldn't breathe. For a few seconds, even Qin Baiyuan's face was blurred in front of her, but the roar in her ears was abnormally clear. Damn it. I asked you to return the shares to me, return them to me. Qin Baiyuan pinched her shoulder blade and slammed it against the wall. Shi Shujing had no doubt that he would kill her for the shares. Return them to me. Qin Baiyuan vented his anger, but Shi Shujing refused to let go. In the end, he also realized that it was useless for him to force Shi Shujing. He slammed her to the ground, looked down at her face and gritted his teeth. You bitch with a heart of a snake and scorpion. I regret that I didn't see you clearly earlier and kicked you out. Shi Shujing was in great pain, but she didn't even frown, as if she didn't feel anything. She stood up calmly. I'll go to work first. The moment she walked out of the office, her eyes turned red. She covered her mouth and closed her eyes to prevent the tears from flowing out. The Qin family's night was also destined to be a restless night. Yin Jingqi had been arguing with Qin Yuning about the shares for more than an hour. Shi Shujing, who was sitting at the side, also suffered a lot of insults. Qin Yuning frowned. How many times have I said that the transfer of shares is my decision, and it has nothing to do with Shi Shujing? Don't you understand human language? I don't understand human language? I think there's something wrong with your brain. Blue Sky is an industry that the Qin family has worked hard to establish for generations. You casually gave it to an outsider. If the Qin family's ancestors find out about this, they won't let you off even if they become ghosts. Nonsense. Dad, you've always been biased towards Shi Shujing. Forget it, but 30% of the shares is a big deal. You can't make such a rash decision. This is my decision after careful consideration. It would be rash to give the shares to you. Qin Baiyuan stood in the corridor, followed by Shi Shujing. Seeing that Qin Baiyuan was suppressing his pain, Shi Shujing couldn't help but comfort him. The doctor said that Dad's condition isn't very good, but it's not completely hopeless. As long as he takes good care of his body, he might be able to hold on for a long time. Qin Baiyuan couldn't even bring himself to mock her. Instead he asked, do you still want a divorce now? The marriage must be divorced, but not now. At least wait until Dad's health is better. No. I'm really afraid that he can't stand the stimulation. I only accepted the shares because of his health. If you're worried, we can sign an agreement in private. When you can take charge, I'll return the shares to you. Do you think I'm still in the mood to talk about the shares? When he said that, Shi Shujing felt a little relieved. At least it proved that he wasn't a selfish person. In fact, she had always known that no matter how bad Qin Baiyuan treated her, he was still humane and treated his parents very well. While they were talking, his phone rang. It was a call from the company. What's the matter? The project in North China? How could this be? Shi Shujing glanced at Qin Baiyuan. All right. I'll come over now. After hanging up the phone, she frowned and asked, You're in charge of the project in North China, right? They've been in arrears for more than 3 months. Why hasn't it been resolved yet? Qin Baiyuan was also annoyed. I can't be bothered with such a small matter. How is it a small matter? The migrant workers hung banners to ask for their wages, caused a scene in the government building, and even wanted to jump off a building. Don't you know about all these? I've already said that I'm not in the mood to care. What does the life and death of those people have to do with me? They're not your direct employees, but they're working hard for Blue Sky. They've worked hard for a year, so they should get their due pay. You're a major shareholder now, so what? You're questioning me now? What right do you have? Forget it. I don't want to argue with you now. I'll handle this matter. You stay in the hospital and accompany Dad. When Shi Shujing arrived, the scene was already in chaos. The migrant workers who were asking for their wages and the security guards at the construction site were already pushing and shoving, and it was getting more and more intense. Actually, she was a little afraid of coming into contact with this kind of group, because most of the dirty tricks in life were done by this kind of people. Therefore, Shi Shujing was very disgusted with this kind of group. However, these were two different things. Today it was their company that owed them wages, so they still had to take responsibility. As for the rest, they had to wait until it happened. At least, they had to have a clear conscience so as to not wrongly accuse the innocent. After Shi Shujing identified herself, a few security guards opened the way and squeezed to the front. The migrant workers were pushing and shoving so hard that even the security guards were a little overwhelmed. Shi Shujing was at the front, so she was also pushed around and was stepped on several times. It was a mess. Everyone calmed down. I'm the representative of Blue Sky. After identifying herself, the crowd became even more turbulent. It's her, it's this black-hearted woman who owes us our wages. Why can't we pay our hard-earned money? The crowd was buzzing. Shi Shujing did not bring a loudspeaker, so she could only shout at the top of her voice. I'm really sorry about this matter. The company has already started to deal with it, and we will definitely give an answer within a week. 1 week after another. Don't try to brush us off like this. That's right. My wife is still waiting for the money to save her life. You developers are not human, you are all vampires. There were some misunderstandings before, but I promise, it will only be a week. Shi Shujing shouted and promised many times, trying to appease the crowd's emotions. It's useless for you to continue like this. Since I'm here, I will definitely deal with it. I was also promoted from the bottom level, so I understand everyone's difficulties. We will not reduce the money owed previously, and we will give corresponding compensation. Under her continuous guarantee, the migrant workers were a little moved. In fact, they had no other way. Otherwise, who would be willing to use this kind of conflict to solve the problem? What they wanted was money, and this was just to attract attention. If someone paid attention to them, they would not be so angry. Everyone, this is not a solution. Can you go back first? I will send someone to contact everyone. At this moment, the foreman at the front of the crowd shouted. Everyone, don't believe her. This is all their excuses. If we leave today, they will definitely ignore us. I know her. She's the Qin family's young mistress. Everyone catch her. Let's see if Blue Sky dares to not pay us. Under their instigation, the crowd became restless again, and desperately squeezed towards Shi Shujing. The security guards could not stop them at all. Shi Shujing was dragged in, and her shoes were squeezed off. She fell to the ground and instinctively covered her head. 7 or 8 hands reached out to pull her, but her hands were pulled away. A wine bottle smashed on her head, and she only heard a clang sound. Her head was spinning and she was stunned. She felt like there were broken glass shards in her hands, but her head was too dizzy, and her body gradually lost consciousness. Get lost, all of you, get lost. A thunderous roar sounded. She saw a pair of long legs squeezing through the crowd, and then she completely lost consciousness. When Shi Shujing woke up, she was in the hospital. Just as she was about to move, she felt very dizzy. It was as if the organs inside were scattered parts, shaking in her head in a disorderly manner. She even had some auditory hallucinations. Don't move. The nurse held her down and slowly helped her up. Your forehead is broken and you have a slight concussion. You need 2 stitches. Fortunately, it's inside your scalp and is covered by your hair. I can't tell. You're the representative of Blue Sky, right? I saw the news this morning. You're too brave. In such a situation, a girl like you dared to rush to the front. Aren't you afraid of danger? The stitches only started to hurt now. Her nerves were being pulled and she was jumping. Shi Shujing gritted her teeth and answered. It's my duty. Only you would. If it were me, I wouldn't dare to do it. What if I get disfigured? There are glass shards in your right arm. The doctor has already removed them. Fortunately, the wound is small and it shouldn't leave a scar. You were also stepped on a few times. When you were sent in, you looked pretty miserable. Who sent me to the hospital? It's the young master of Blue Sky. I've seen him on TV. He's very, very handsome. What's your relationship? I saw that he was very nervous when he sent you in. He shouted that he wanted to get the best doctor here. Shi Shujing was a little surprised and she answered slowly. Really? Based on her understanding, shouldn't he be eager for her to die? While they were talking, Qin Baiyuan came in. Shi Shujing didn't say anything, but the nurse greeted him with a red face. Xiao Qin. Qin Baiyuan asked her to go out first. The two of them stared at each other for a long time before he suddenly said, "Shi Shujing, are you retarded? What are you trying to show off in such a situation? What do you think you are? A superwoman?" Qin Baiyuan's words were very rude and his tone was terrible. But that was because he was worried. Yesterday when she left, he followed her, but he was stuck in traffic, so he was a little late. When he arrived, the scene was a mess and he saw her lying on the ground. She had been smashed and the beer bottle had broken. At that time, his heart was tightly knitted and he was completely panicked. He knew that it wasn't fatal, but looking at her head covered in blood, that feeling. Qin Baiyuan couldn't calm down now. He only hoped that he would take the hit for her. Shi Shujing didn't understand his thoughts, so he felt that this person was very annoying. Chapter 141. Why did you rush forward when it was dangerous? Why did you squeeze to the front when it was dangerous? Those people are crazy. They won't care whether you are a woman or not. They will still beat you. If you had dealt with this matter from the beginning, it wouldn't have become like this. You mean you are cleaning up the mess for me? Shi Shujing was also very impulsive. Isn't it? Am I so bad in your eyes? I don't need you to make up for me. Anyway, I will deal with this matter well. You stay here and recuperate. Qin Baiyuan's words were very domineering. His expression was the same. His young face now looked very manly. He had a sense of responsibility. Shi Shujing was also very tired and didn't want to quarrel with him. I want to find a nurse. Not feeling well? Qin Baiyuan frowned and took a step forward. No. Yes means yes, no means no. Don't force yourself. Shi Shujing said in a muffled voice. I'm hungry. Qin Baiyuan didn't speak for a few seconds and then asked impatiently. What do you want to eat? Why are you looking at me like that? Are you afraid that I will poison you to death with rat poison? Shi Shujing mumbled in a low voice. It's not that you can't do it. I will deal with you sooner or later. Qin Baiyuan raised his fist and then left. After about 15 minutes, he came back again with a few lunch boxes in his hand. He moved a table on the bed and lined up the lunch boxes. There were porridge, steamed buns, rice and pastries. I don't know what you like to eat, so I bought one randomly. Qin Baiyuan pulled a long face as if he owed him money. Shi Shujing was a little dumbfounded. She looked at Qin Baiyuan, and the look in her eyes made him uncomfortable. What are you looking at? Am I the one with a concussion or you? Do you think I want to? But no matter what, you were injured for blue sky, so I can't ignore your life. Qin Baiyuan said it in a dignified and plausible way. Why not? You're not a person with a conscience. You have quite a sharp mouth. I think you're most likely pretending. If you're not sick, then get discharged. Don't stay here and waste the company's money. The two of them quarreled with one another, neither giving in to the other. Shi Shujing was hungry, so he ended the war and ate some porridge. In the private room of the cafe, Su Zhixian and her assistant were sitting. After all, she was young and had a good foundation. Su Zhixian's body recovered quickly. It couldn't be seen that she had a miscarriage at all. Her complexion was very good. Of course, the knot in her heart was still there. Those people are all locked up? Did they shake me out? No. You weren't the one who showed up in the first place, so how would they know who it was? They were the migrant workers who had attacked Shi Shujing. She had planned to do something more ruthless, but Qin Baiyuan had suddenly arrived. Seeing his anxious look on the news, she was so angry that her intestines were tied up. The assistant still had some conscience and asked, "Should we bail them out? Are you out of your mind?" If Qin Baiyuan knew that someone was behind this, wouldn't he investigate? Don't worry about those people. Anyway, they will be locked up for a month at most. According to what we said before, each of their family members will be given 100,000 yuan. Remember, don't let anyone else know. Okay. I know what to do. Su Zhixian narrowed her eyes. Her eyes were vicious. Qin Baiyuan had been staying in the hospital for 2 days. Both of them didn't like each other. On this day, Shi Shujing couldn't help but ask again. Why are you still here? Don't you have anything to do in the company? It's none of your business. Dad is upstairs. I'm staying here to take care of him. Do you think I'm doing this for you? After retorting, Qin Baiyuan was no longer in the mood to play games. He put away his phone and glanced at Shi Shujing with dissatisfaction. You think too highly of yourself. Then he went out and asked the doctor about Shi Shujing's condition. The doctor said that there was no big problem. The injuries on his forehead and hands still needed some time to recover. It would be better to stay in the hospital for observation for a few days. Qin Baiyuan didn't want to quarrel with Shi Shujing so soon. He was going to have a meal at the entrance of the hospital. When he went downstairs he met Stony Moon at the stairway and stopped. In front of others he had always been a rather ostentatious and arrogant character, but in front of Shi Jiyue, there was a slight change in the situation. It was as if he had suddenly become steady, but also as if he had suddenly become a little boy. He had lost all his hostility and was much more obedient. On the other hand, Shi Chueyu was more natural and unrestrained than him and greeted him. Hi. Qin Baiyuan's mood changed a little, but he didn't show it on his face. But when he went downstairs his footsteps were a little stiff and tense. His eyes fell on the medical record in her hand and he was a little anxious. Are you not feeling well? No. I'm preparing to have a child. Come here for a checkup. Oh. Qin Baiyuan felt strange. He couldn't describe the feeling in his heart. The Qin and Shi families were friends. He and Stony Moon were childhood friends. They were of the same age and had been in the same class since kindergarten. They had a good relationship. Between boys and girls of the same age, it was usually the girls who matured faster. So, Stony Moon had always been like an elder sister. Qin Baiyuan listened to everything she said and hid his feelings in his heart. He had been waiting for Stony Moon to grow up. He felt that when he grew up, Stony Moon would naturally be his. But before he grew up, Stony Moon's heart already belonged to someone else. It was not him but Tao Yiqian. During that period of time he couldn't understand why his identity and status couldn't be compared to a burden who suddenly appeared. But Stony Moon was obsessed with Tao Yiqian and wouldn't listen to him no matter what. There was one time when he was drunk and finally confessed to her, but Stony Moon said that she only treated him as a friend and liked boys who were more mature. For so many years, this regret had been a knot in Qin Baiyuan's heart. Their relationship of more than 10 years had never been relieved. Why are you in the hospital? I'm here to visit a friend. Qin Baiyuan felt unnatural. You're accompanying Shi Shujing, right? I saw her on the news. How is she? Nothing serious, just a few stitches on her forehead. Disfigured? Stony Moon couldn't control his emotions well and asked anxiously. Qin Baiyuan paused for a moment and shook his head. No. It's under the scalp. I can't tell. Oh. The disappointment on Stony Moon's face couldn't be concealed. Qin Baiyuan felt a little uncomfortable. He knew that Stony Moon had always hated Shi Shujing and could understand her. But to hope that the other party's face would be disfigured was a little too cruel. He changed the topic. Why didn't he come with you? There are many things to do in the company. He's busy. Stony Moon felt a little embarrassed. No matter how busy he is, it's not as important as your health. This is too irresponsible. Qin Baiyuan's stern criticism and worried expression touched Stony Moon. She also had mixed feelings in her heart. Tao Yiqian seemed to be obedient to her, but he had always been cold and didn't care about anything. The resentment in her heart grew as time went by. After all, she would definitely be tired if she paid too much attention to him. Therefore, in the face of Qin Baiyuan's worry, she couldn't help but ask herself if she had made the wrong choice. When a girl was young she dared to love and hate. Between the person she loved and the person who loved her, she would often choose the former regardless of her own safety. At that time she felt that Qin Baiyuan was too childish, and Tao Yiqian's maturity and steadiness attracted her. In addition, she more or less wanted to take revenge on Shi Shujing. Therefore she chose Tao Yiqian. But now, if she had chosen Qin Baiyuan at that time, it would have been much easier. She was a woman and hoped to be loved. She hoped that her husband only had her in his heart. What are you thinking about? No, nothing. Qin Baiyuan's delicate eyebrows and eyes made Stony Moon blush slightly. Time could make a man mature. The boy at that time had gradually grown into a man, which was attractive to Stony Moon. A person's birth often determined a lot of things. After all, Qin Baiyuan was born with a golden spoon in his mouth. He had received the first-class education since childhood. His bearing was not comparable to Tao Yiqian at all. Not to mention his beautiful appearance, which could make women crazy, was so dazzling. He was afraid that if he continued to think about it, his mind would be even more unbalanced. Stony Moon timely stopped. Then I'll go to have a check first. Do you need me to accompany you? When Qin Baiyuan asked, he felt that his identity was not appropriate. But he didn't flinch and still looked at her persistently. No need. Standing in the same place he watched Stony Moon go upstairs. Her back was getting farther and farther, just like the gap between them. Stony Moon was his goddess. All these years, Qin Baiyuan had been trying to chase after her back. But in the end, it was like a dream, leaving a scar in his heart. After Qin Baiyuan left, Shi Shujing was quiet. Her tense nerves relaxed and she was a little sleepy. When she was about to rest, she suddenly felt a shadow on her eyelids. Someone gently put her hand under the quilt. She opened her eyes. It was Tao Yiqian. He was stunned for a moment. "Sorry, did I wake you up?" "No. I didn't fall asleep." Shi Shujing looked at the bouquet in his hand. It was her favorite lily. Maybe others didn't think that there was anything special about this flower. But when Shi Shujing looked at its white and flawless color, she felt that it was the purest flower in the world. Tao Yiqian smiled slightly. "This is for you." "Thank you." Without needing her to say anything, Tao Yiqian had already found a vase and arranged the flowers. For the past few days this was the first time that someone came to visit her. Shi Shujing was full of energy and sat up. "How did you know that I was in the hospital?" "What happened at the construction site has been a hot topic. The news has been reporting about it." "It seems that I'm famous." Shi Shujing joked. "Fortunately the cable at home is broken. My mom doesn't read the newspaper, otherwise she would be worried. She even called me yesterday and asked me to contact the master to fix it. Now it seems that it's better not to fix it for the time being." Tao Yiqian knew that she was joking because she didn't want him to worry. But the more she acted like this, the more his heart ached. "I just came back from a business trip. Otherwise I would have come to see you earlier. Don't worry, it's not serious." "It's not serious? Even the news scares me." Tao Yiqian pondered for a moment. He didn't tell her that he rushed back from France overnight after seeing the news. That situation was so dangerous. How could a girl like you rush to the front? Chapter 142. Tao Yiqian sighed. "You're just too stubborn." Shi Shujing gave a wry smile. "If I had someone to rely on, who would want to be stubborn?" These words made Tao Yiqian feel very uncomfortable. He was willing to be her most solid support and her protective umbrella. From the first time they met, this had already become his mission. It was just that life always did not go according to the orbit he expected, and it often ran in the opposite direction. He was already married and she was already married, and they walked further and further apart. "As far as I know, this project is led by Qin Baiyuan, and he actually asked you to do it. How can you not be a man? This is too outrageous." "It's not the first time you've known him. Don't you know him?" "Forget it, let's not talk about him. Anyway, thank you very much for coming to see me." "Don't be silly, we're a family." "Yes. In the Shi family only you treat me as a family." "Thank you." It was a rare tranquility, as if they had returned to the time when they were young. She was a naive little girl, carefree and very dependent on him. This feeling, it was so good. "The stitches are a little uncomfortable, can you help me scratch it? It's not convenient for my hand." "Where here?" "A little to the left." "No, a little to the left." A voice behind him interrupted. "What are you doing?" Tao Yiqian withdrew his hand and took 2 steps back. He was so guilty that his eyes were a little messy, but in a short second, he restrained all his emotions. When he turned to face Qin Baiyuan, there was no change in his expression. Qin Baiyuan had always been disgusted by Tao Yiqian snatching his love away from him and not appreciating it. Now he didn't have time to accompany Shi Leiyue for a checkup, but he had the time to care about his wife. Shi Shujing's scalp was still itching and he glared at Qin Baiyuan, not in a good mood. "Brother-in-law is just helping me. Can't you do it yourself?" "My hand hasn't recovered yet." Qin Baiyuan walked over and bumped into Tao Yiqian on purpose. As a man he could tell that Tao Yiqian was up to no good. Of course, it wasn't the first day that Tao Yiqian wanted to hit on Shi Shujing. He just couldn't understand. Since he liked Shi Shujing, why didn't he just marry her? Since he married Stony Moon, he should have treated her well. But he still didn't give up on Shi Shujing and coveted his wife. Why did Stony Moon like such a scum? Of course, the 2 men had been holding grudges for a long time. Qin Baiyuan didn't like Tao Yiqian, and Tao Yiqian was even more angry at Qin Baiyuan. He had tolerated the previous things, but this time, it really made him angry and he couldn't help but reprimand. "How could you ask Shi Shujing to help in such a dangerous situation?" Qin Baiyuan's eyebrows rippled as if he found it funny. "Are you lecturing me? What right do you have to meddle in the affairs between us? Shi Shujing is my family. I'm her brother-in-law. Since you can remember that you're her brother-in-law, why can't you remember that you're Stony Moon's husband? Shi Shujing is my wife. I'll care about her, but you should care about your wife. It's none of your business to worry about our affairs." "You?" Tao Yiqian was angry. He, who had always been calm, was a little emotional at this moment. You know she's your wife, so you should take good care of her instead of pushing her into danger. Qin Baiyuan retorted sarcastically. Oh, you're good at lecturing people, but ask yourself, are you a good husband? Have you done your duty? If you have so much time to care about our family affairs, you might as well pay more attention to Stony Moon. No matter what, I won't ask Stony Moon to take risks. It's true that you didn't ask Stony Moon to take risks, but you've hurt her heart during these years of marriage, haven't you? Before you lecture others, you should first reflect on yourself and see if you're qualified enough. You're just an adopted bastard. You really think too highly of yourself. Shi Shujing's face changed. Qin Baiyuan, shut up. Qin Baiyuan didn't feel that his words were too harsh. If he didn't say he was a bastard, wouldn't he be a bastard? To be honest, people in their class all valued family background very much. Tao Yiqin was adopted from an orphanage, so he had always disdained him. Even if he was the executor of Shuilan, he couldn't change his family background. In Qin Baiyuan's eyes, he was still trash. I didn't say anything wrong. It's funny to hide things that are known to all. Fortunately, Tao Yiqin wasn't a man with a glass heart. He naturally bore a lot of pressure and criticism to be able to sit in the position of executor. Qin Baiyuan's words didn't hurt him. The only thing that annoyed him a little was that these words were said in front of Shi Shujing, which embarrassed him. The man who was like a spring breeze also sneered at this moment. You're born in a good family, but there are few good people among the rich second generation nowadays. If your so-called upbringing is to bully your wife and use her as a shield when you're in danger, and you don't have the most basic respect, then I can only say that the self-restraint of a rich man really makes me look at you in a new light. Although you're born in a noble family, in fact, you're no different from trash. So what? At least I know what kind of family I come from, and you? Qin Baiyuan sneered. You don't even know whose son you are. It's ridiculous. Qin Baiyuan, don't say any more. Shi Shujing restrained his anger, but he was full of opinions. Brother-in-law, you go back first. Thank you for coming to see me. Tao Yiqin didn't want to lose his composure in front of Shi Shujing, so he nodded. I'll go first. Wait, Qin Baiyuan stopped him. Since you've married Stony Moon, you have to be responsible for her. What's more, now that you plan to have a child, you have to take good care of her. Don't let her be alone. When Qin Baiyuan said these words, his tone was sincere. There was no hostility, but Tao Yiqin responded with a look that said, you don't have the right to make irresponsible remarks. Tao Yiqin then left. As soon as he left, Shi Shujing said, do you know that what you said just now was really too much? No matter what, you shouldn't use my brother-in-law's background to satirize him. Am I not telling the truth? He was adopted by your father. If I didn't say it, he would take himself seriously. What? Do you feel sorry for him? You're being unreasonable. I'm being unreasonable? He was the one who provoked me first. Does he have the right to butt in on our business? And what were you doing before I came in? When he thought of this, Qin Baiyuan felt sour in his heart. He didn't feel good. Didn't I tell you? He's helping me. That's a good excuse. I don't think it's as simple as helping you. Maybe you've kissed him before I came in. Shi Shujing, you're really charming. You've been attracting bees and butterflies everywhere. I've just left for a while and he's here. But don't be complacent. What you've attracted are not bees and butterflies but flies. Have you heard of the saying that flies don't bite seamless eggs? You must have taken the initiative to seduce him. Mr. C isn't here and there's a brother-in-law who fawns over you. You're really popular. Can't you stay idle for a moment? Do you need a man that much? Do you want me to find a few more for you? Shi Shujing rolled his eyes. You're simply unreasonable. Yes, I'll tell you the truth. You like hypocritical men who pretend to be nice to you and fawn over you. You think you're charming and complacent, right? I'm sorry. I really can't fawn over a woman like that because you're not worthy. I don't want to quarrel with you on this matter anymore. Just take it that I'm begging you. Can you let me go? With a quarrel, Qin Baiyuan could at least vent his anger. Now that Shi Shujing took the initiative to call a truce, it made him even angrier. You don't even want to say a word to me now? I'm not. I just don't know why we're always quarreling. I'm tired and you're tired. Why do you have to do this? I know you're in a bad mood because of Dad's matter. I'm also worried about him. Let's put the matter between us aside first. Is that okay? She tried to move him with emotion and reason, but Qin Baiyuan was still very rude and unreasonable. He rejected her without hesitation. No. You and I can't get along peacefully unless all the men around you are dead. However, I don't think they'll stop pestering you for a while, and you're not willing to let them go, so let's torture each other. Since you've done something wrong to me, you'll have to bear my words. But don't worry, I'll look after you in the future. The incident at the construction site won't happen again, lest someone crusades against me, saying that I'm not like a man and can't even protect my wife. Shi Shujing was discharged from the hospital after resting for another 2 days. Firstly, she was worried about the company's affairs. Secondly, she didn't know if Qin Baiyuan's brain was abnormal. He wandered around the hospital every day, and the two of them always quarreled, which made her in a bad mood. So, she simply left the hospital by herself while he was away. When she arrived at the company, the first thing she did was to ask the assistant about the progress of asking for salary. It's been handled yesterday. Who handled it? The general manager. The salary has been paid and he even personally invited them to dinner, so there's no problem now. This is the first time I've seen such a small matter done by the general manager himself. He's so bold. After eating, those workers all changed their words and said that it must be a misunderstanding. Shi Shujing was quite surprised. Qin Baiyuan was a pampered and spoiled young master. He usually gave orders in the company commanding this and that. He rarely interacted with the people at the bottom of the hierarchy. To be honest, he was very disdainful of such people. This time, did the sun rise from the west? After all, he had just been discharged from the hospital. Shi Shujing's physical condition was not very good. He had originally planned to work overtime, but he was tired in the afternoon. He got off work on time at 6 o'clock. When he returned home, there was no one at home. In the past few days, Yin Jingqi had brought a maid to the hospital to take care of Qin Yuning. Shi Shujing changed her clothes and began to cook. When she was cutting the tomatoes, she suddenly heard footsteps behind her. It startled her and she almost cut her fingers. As soon as she turned around, she saw Qin Baiyuan's complacent face. There was even a hint of success in his prank, which was very childish. What are you afraid of? Feeling guilty? Shi Shujing was speechless. Why are you back? You're asking as if I can't go back to my own home. Qin Baiyuan went to the fridge and took a bottle of water. He raised his head and drank a little quickly. The water slid down his throat and into his shirt. Shi Shujing turned around and asked casually. Chapter 143. It's only 7 o'clock. Do you think I should have eaten? Shi Shujing felt stifled every time she talked to him. Couldn't they just talk nicely? His tone was always so harsh. How annoying. What do you want to eat? Tomato fried egg rice. Oh, I don't want to eat tomatoes and I don't want to eat scrambled eggs. Make a few small stir-fries. I'll eat mine and you eat yours. Did I say I'll cook for you? I'm already back and you're asking me to eat out. Are you kidding me? Why not? You usually eat out anyway. Shi Shujing said as he cut the tomatoes. She couldn't be bothered to talk to him, but Qin Baiyuan held the kitchen knife with one hand, and her rude voice sounded above her head. Everything here belongs to my Qin family. You eat and use my food. What's wrong with asking you to cook? Let go of me. No. Shi Shujing raised her head and glared at him. Are you deliberately looking for a fight? She really felt that he was asking for a beating, as if he would die if he didn't quarrel for a day. If you cook for me, I won't quarrel anymore. Shi Shujing tried a few times but he couldn't pull out the knife. She didn't dare to make any big movements for fear of hurting someone. In the end, she could only compromise. What do you want to eat? Don't worry, I don't expect much from you. Just a few home-cooked dishes will do. I'll go upstairs to take a shower first. Hurry up. An hour later, Shi Shujing finished cooking. Qin Baiyuan dressed neatly and went downstairs. She looked very beautiful and she sprayed some perfume. The smell was very fragrant, clean and refreshing. On the other hand, Shi Shujing was covered with the smell of smoke and he was sweating profusely. This contrast made her feel very unbalanced. Braised pork ribs, seaweed and egg drop soup, lettuce? You only made these 3 dishes in an hour? Are you a turtle? Eat or leave. Both of them were hungry so they stopped fighting for the time being. Only the sound of bowls and chopsticks could be heard in the air. Judging from Qin Baiyuan's extremely picky taste buds, Shi Shujing's dishes actually tasted pretty good. It felt very homely. He glanced at her. There was a layer of sweat on his forehead and the tip of his nose. His face was covered in dirt, but as he looked at it, his heart warmed. However, when she thought of the fact that she might have cooked for that adulterer before, and that she might have used the trick of, to tie a man's heart, one must first tie a man's stomach, to pretend to be virtuous and virtuous, she felt very uncomfortable in her heart. It was as if her heart was being clamped by the pincers of a crab, and it hurt a little. She couldn't help but mutter. How disgusting. Sure, Shujing didn't mind. She wasn't cooking for him anyway. It was fine as long as she thought it was delicious. I've taken care of the construction site. Leave this kind of thing to me in the future. You're a woman, so don't force yourself. Also, don't think that my ability is really that bad. There are many things that I just don't want to do. I'm not so bad that a woman has to worry for me. I know that in your heart, I can't even be compared to 1/10 or 100th of him. But that's because I don't put in the effort. When I'm serious, I'm not any worse than him. Qin Baiyuan's tone was very calm when he said these words. He wasn't arrogant at all, so sure Shujing couldn't roll his eyes or do anything to him. In the future, I'll slowly shoulder the responsibility of blue sky. Don't look down on me. After that, the two of them didn't speak anymore. But that last sentence echoed in Sure Shujing's mind for the whole night. England. At the hospital. Si Wenqin stood in the corridor. He had already smoked 4 or 5 cigarettes. Recently, he had been guarding Yang Yizhou in the hospital every day. There were a lot of things on his mind. There wasn't a day when his head didn't hurt. He was always in a daze. Just like now, looking at his reflection in the glass window, he suddenly became Sure Shujing and smiled at him so obediently. Just as he reached out to touch it, he turned back into his own shadow. He retracted his hand and pinched the space between his eyebrows. He never knew that he would miss a woman like this. The more he tried to get rid of her, the deeper he fell. This feeling of losing control was something that Si Wenqin had never experienced before. Therefore, he didn't know how to solve it. Mr. Si, your mother is awake. The young nurse's voice came from behind him. Si Wenqin snuffed out his cigarette and turned around to say, "Thank you." The young nurse's face was as red as an apple. This reminded him of Sure Shujing's face. She also blushed easily, but she was very stubborn and always refused to admit it. That little woman was not obedient at all, but he liked her very much. There were so many women in the world, but she was the only one that he kept thinking about. He walked into the ward and helped Yang Yizhou to sit up with a pillow. Yang Yizhou frowned. You're smoking again. Is your smoking addiction so strong now? She knew that her son usually had a lot of social activities and needed to smoke. But recently he seemed to be a little drunk. Or are you annoyed with me? No. I know that you're still angry that I didn't agree to you and Sure Shujing being together. If you were in my shoes, would you agree? I'm your mother. Of course I'll think about everything for you. But what about you? It's as if I'm the one breaking up a pair of lovers. Since you were young, when have I interfered with your matters? If her identity wasn't so awkward, wouldn't I agree to it? But now you're making it seem like I'm narrow-minded. It's really a thankless task. Yang Yizhou nagged a lot of bitterness, but Si Wenqin didn't really listen to it. Are you hungry? I'll get someone to prepare lunch. No need. I'm already full from all the anger. I'm not hungry. Yang Yizhou was angry for a while. Seeing that Si Wenqin didn't coax her and was frowning in annoyance, she felt uncomfortable in her heart. Which mother would be willing to fall out with her son because of an outsider? This wasn't worth it. Instead, it would push her son away. She knew clearly in her heart, and she didn't want to do such a stupid thing. Do you feel that I'm particularly unreasonable now? No. I understand your position. I understand, but you still want to be stubborn, right? Yang Yizhou's expression was solemn. Have you really thought it through? You must be with Sure Shujing? Let's not talk about this now, okay? It's the same thing whether we talk about it or not. I think your soul has been hooked away by her. You look like you've lost your soul. I don't feel comfortable seeing you stay here. You should go and find her. Don't think that I'm acting out of spite. I have no choice. It's not like I don't know your stubborn personality. I can make you stay for a day, but I can't make you stay forever. Yang Yizhou sighed helplessly. I've said what I should say and I've tried all the methods I can think of. But you've been poisoned by her now, and you're in a delirious state. I can't do anything about it. Mom, don't misunderstand. I'm not agreeing to the two of you being together. This is just a last resort. Can I not want you as my son? Actually, even if I don't care, the two of you might not be able to be together. It's up to you. Maybe I don't care anymore and you'll think it through one day. Even if she was forced to do so, Yang Yizhou finally relented. This was a great turning point for Si Wenqin. Otherwise, he would really be in a dilemma between the two of them. Only then could he speak calmly and sincerely. Mom, I know it's not easy for you to raise me alone, and I love you very much. But I really have feelings for Sure Shujing and I can't let her go. There's no right or wrong in this matter. It's just that we have different standpoints. Believe in your son's eyes. Since Sure Shujing can move my heart, there must be something worth liking about her. When she gets divorced, I'll bring her back and you'll get to know her slowly. I'm sure you'll like her. Yang Yizhou muttered in her heart. She didn't think so. Shi Shujing couldn't be compared to Tang Tang in terms of beauty. At best she was a little younger, but wouldn't she grow old in a few years? Women still needed to have their own career and self-cultivation. What could an ordinary office worker who worked in her husband's company be capable of? However, since she had relented, Yang Yizhou couldn't say anything more. In the end she couldn't help but ask. If I insist on objecting, you still want her? Yes. Si Wenxin answered very directly. I never thought about letting go. She's mine. After the transfer of shares, everyone in the company changed their attitude towards Shi Shujing, the new major shareholder, and they were very respectful. Of course, she occasionally heard them talking behind her back about her relationship with her father-in-law and other unpleasant things. However, no one dared to say a word to her face. Her ears were suddenly quiet. This was probably the only benefit of getting shares for Shi Shujing. She continued to be in charge of the project of Ocean Group. At 8 o'clock in the morning, she went to the government department for a meeting. The project involved 3 parties: Director Zhang of the Land Planning Bureau, Ocean Group, and Blue Sky. When she arrived, only Director Zhang was there. He probably heard about the shares, so he was very kind to her. Come on. I just made pu'er tea. Don't you girls have the habit of losing weight? Pu'er tea reduces fat and is very good for your figure. Thank you, Director Zhang. Shi Shujing knew that Director Zhang was a Cantonese and liked to drink tea very much. There was an ancient wood tea set in the office, and the process of making tea was very professional. The tea is very delicious. That's for entertaining VIPs. I usually can't bear to drink it. While they were talking, someone came in and sat down next to Shi Shujing. Because she had heard that Ocean Group had sent a representative with the surname Qin, she thought it was the one she had met before. So when she turned around, she saw Si Wenxin sitting next to her. She was so shocked that she dropped her cup. Fortunately, he was quite agile and caught the cup for her, and the tea splashed on his hand. Manager Shi, why are you so excited to meet an old friend? Si Wenxin's lips curled up as he teased her. Why did he come back? Director Zhang was also very surprised. Today's meeting was just to sign a few documents. Why would Si Wenxin come in person? Could it be? Everyone had a heart for gossip. Previously, the matter between the two of them had spread like wildfire, and Director Zhang also knew about it. His eyes were a little more inquisitive, trying to use his pair of shrewd eyes to find out if there was any relationship between the two of them. Shi Shujing's heart was now completely messed up. She felt that her breath was all about Si Wenxin. But in such an occasion with a third party present, it made her feel like a primary school student in love, afraid that the teacher would find out. Her heart was beating wildly, and her cheeks were unconsciously red. It's my honor to have Boss Si here personally. Come have a smoke, have a smoke. Director Zhang handed over a cigarette with both hands and eagerly tried to light it for him, but Si Wenxin indicated that there was no need. He lit the cigarette himself and deliberately asked Shi Shujing. Chapter 144. Shi Shujing hurriedly shook his head. Even though he was only looking at Manager Zhang's chest, he could still feel the disdain in the corner of his eyes. He was quite flustered. But if he kept dodging like this, Director Zhang might notice something was off. He calmed himself down and raised his head to look at the two chatting merrily. Si Wenxin's social skills were top-notch. He could always find topics to talk to different people, and he had his own unique opinions. He was very relaxed when chatting, probably because he did not want to give people pressure. He was also not the kind of person who would put on airs and act high and mighty just because of his status. He had his own personal charm. When he smoked, he smelled like he was smoking. When he was serious, he smelled like he was serious. Manager Shi, documents. Director Zhang urged Shi Shujing a few times before he came back to his senses. What's wrong? Did you not sleep well last night? Maybe. Shi Shujing handed over the report awkwardly and added a sentence as if she was trying to cover something up. It was too hot last night. I couldn't sleep. It's been quite hot these days. I've been in Flozen City for so many years, but I still can't stand the heat. The temperature in the north is higher than in the south. At this moment, Si Wenxin flicked the cigarette ash and suddenly said, I was on the plane last night and arrived at 8 in the morning. I didn't feel the heat. Boss Si came here as soon as he got off the plane. It must have been too hard. Why didn't you take a good rest and get rid of the jet lag? I couldn't help it. I was worried about Shi Shujing's heart trembled, but he heard his smiling voice continue. I was worried about this cooperation, so I came here directly. It's not too late to get rid of the jet lag after signing the contract. Then I'll ask someone to prepare the documents now. Please wait for a moment, I'll be right back. Director Zhang said and left, leaving only the two of them in the office. The man who was sitting upright a moment ago had now shed his skin and changed into another face. He raised his eyebrows and blew a ring of smoke at Shi Shujing. How was it? Did I act well just now? Shi Shujing waved his hand twice, but when the smoke came out of Si Wenqin's mouth, it wasn't pungent at all. In fact, it was a little intoxicating. What? I don't know you well. We were originally. Just as Shi Shujing was about to deny it, the person beside her seemed to be able to teleport instantly. His face was right in front of her, magnifying in her eyes, filling up her entire vision. Are you trying to say that we don't know each other? We've already done the most intimate things. What else do you want to do? Shi Shujing panicked and reached out to push him away. Don't be like that. This is someone else's office. Director Zhang will be back soon. It won't be good if he sees this. Even if he saw it, what would he dare to say? Do you think that he wouldn't be able to sniff out some clues from your performance just now? I didn't do anything. The moment you see me, you're like a mouse seeing a cat. You're evasive and uneasy. How can you call that nothing? Si Wenqin pinched Shi Shujing's chin with both hands and leaned over. His lips were almost touching hers as he murmured. The smell of smoke wantonly sprayed on her lips. Do I move your heart this way? You let go. Shi Shujing didn't dare to make any big movements or struggle. She didn't even dare to speak loudly for fear of touching his lips. She was almost pursing her lips and mumbling softly. Even if you want to be naughty, you should know the occasion. Si Wenqin laughed. Have you heard of anyone being naughty? If you know the occasion, would that still be considered naughty? What? Are you so infatuated with me that you can't think straight? It seems like you really miss me. I didn't miss you. You're thinking too much. Really? Did you miss me? Did you miss me? Si Wenqin was a little like a rascal. He asked again and again, kissing her lips and blowing hot air into her ears. He kept teasing Shi Shujing, who was panicking like an ant on a hot pan. Hey, don't be like this. Si Wenqin, you said before that you'll take it slow. You won't disrespect me. We haven't seen each other for so many days. Do you think I can endure it? Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Do you understand? I also want to be gentle to you, but who asked you to attract me so much? Whenever I see you, I don't want to be gentle, nor do I want to pretend to be a gentleman. I just like to tease you like this and see how flustered you are for me. Shi Shujing's mind was in a mess. She had no way to resist Si Wenqin, but at the same time she had to constantly be on guard against people coming in. Her thoughts were jumping and she was in a mess. If this carried on, she would go on strike. She tried to find a topic that could bring her back to her senses. Why did you come back? How's your mom? She's almost recovered. She's been discharged. You came here behind her back? Do I need to be sneaky when I do things? She knows that I'm here for you. This domineering man said it with deep affection. But didn't she not agree to us being together? Do you think I'm a 3-year-old kid? Do I need my parents' permission to date anyone? Shi Shujing, I've said it before. No one can stop me from doing what I want to do. Just like, if I really intend to take you here, do you think you can resist? Don't be like that, Shi Shujing panicked. Si Wenqin, I beg you. Don't do it here. He cupped her face with one hand and suddenly laughed in her ear. Baby, you're so cute. You're not scared at all. Don't worry. Although it's interesting here, it's not enough for me to take you slowly. As Si Wenqin spoke, he gave her a light peck on her soft lips. When the distance between the two of them increased a little, Shi Shujing's feeling of going crazy was slightly relieved. She was like a frightened deer that had escaped from death, but she was still a little worried that she would not be able to escape from the calamity. She did not know when Si Wenqin would pounce on her again. He was a person who was quite fickle at times. His mood was unpredictable and hard to predict. If your mom knew that you saw me, she might be so angry that she would have a heart attack again. That's my mom. She's not that weak. If you're worried about her health, quickly divorce her and be with me. At that time, she won't be able to talk back. This topic obviously stirred up something that was bothering Shi Shujing again. It's not that easy. Even if I get a divorce, my past is still there. Your mom will definitely not accept me. At least she has no reason to oppose us anymore. Si Wenqin lit another cigarette. When he was not smoking, he always wanted to kiss her. He had to find something to do so that he would not be so impatient. When are you going to divorce Qin Baiyuan? I don't know. I don't want to talk about this. Is it because Qin Yuning is in the hospital or because he gave you shares? Sure, Shujing was surprised at first, but then he calmed down. Is it because he's in the hospital that you don't want to talk about divorce? Are you afraid of hurting him? Si Wenqin's tone was firm. He pointed at her with a cigarette in his hand. You're always so worried. Are you living for someone else? Sure, Shujing bit his lips. But people have to have a conscience. Conscience? Eh. How naive. Do you think Qin Yuning is really good to you? What do you mean? Si Wenqin only said one sentence and did not explain further. I know that the business world is complicated and there are a lot of scheming, but it's not all about benefits between people. All these years, Dad has been very good to me. I can still tell whether it's sincere or not. Besides, what benefits can he get from me? Why should he be good to me? Sure enough, at the mention of Qin Yuning, Sure Shujing became a little emotional. This was something that Si Wenqin had expected. It was right that he did not continue to talk about it. He slowly puffed out a smoke ring, accompanied by a meaningful sentence. As long as you're happy. Sure Shujing did not know what to say. Si Wenqin pinched the space between his eyebrows. What's wrong? I rushed over as soon as I got off the plane. I haven't recovered from the jet lag. Sure Shujing's heart ached, but she refused to admit it. She even complained about him. Who asked you to come over? Isn't it because I missed you? Last night on the plane I missed you the whole day. I missed you so much that my head hurt and I couldn't sleep at all. Uncomfortable. When will you help me to calm down? Sure Shujing's cheeks heated up. Why are you saying such things again? Chapter 145. When it was almost 5 o'clock, Sure Shujing thought of the day's work in front of the computer. She did not look well because of the radiation, so she went to the washroom to touch up her makeup. When she came out, the assistant was stunned and asked her, Manager, do you have an appointment tonight? Sure Shujing felt a little guilty. Yes. A client. I thought it was with the general manager. After entering the office, the large office chair turned around. Qin Baiyuan leisurely and contentedly sat in her seat. Her hands were comfortably placed on both sides of the chair. Her footsteps stopped, and her beautiful eyebrows furrowed. What are you doing here? She was even sitting in her seat, swaggering around. Don't act like a fighting cock every time you see me. I'm not here to quarrel with you. We quarrel every time we see each other. What else can your mouth do besides scolding people? Why not? Compared to scolding people, this mouth is more suitable for kissing. What do you want? Qin Baiyuan did not speak, but squinted his pair of fox-like eyes to examine her. He felt that she was a little different today, different from when he saw her in the morning. After careful observation, he found that she had touched up her makeup and put on some powder. Her fair skin looked even fairer, and her lips were dyed with a layer of honey, shiny, and looked very delicious. Sure Shujing lowered her head guiltily, and her hands subconsciously grasped the makeup bag. Qin Baiyuan's eyes were sharp, and he must be able to see the clues. Sure enough, the man lived up to her expectations. There was a slight ripple at the corner of his mouth, and his voice was very pleasant and also very cynical. What? You have an appointment with a beauty? Client? A male client? Mr. C? Sure Shujing bit her lips and said very reluctantly. It's none of your business. You're used to being shameless and I don't want to care. But tonight you have to go to the hospital with me. The doctor said that there is the latest examination report, and it's better to have the family members present. This sounded like an excuse. Of course, Sure Shujing would not be so submissive. You and your mother can stay in the hospital. Let me know if there's any result or I'll call the doctor later. Like I said, even a dog would be more loyal than you. You know how well my father treated you over the years. Now he even owns 30% of the company's shares. He's seriously ill in the hospital and you can't even visit him? You still have a lot of time with Mr. C. You don't have to worry about a day or two. He's a man after all. Sometimes if you leave him hanging, he'll still be thinking about you. Don't let him hook his finger and rush to throw himself at you. What a loser. You? Sure Shujing found that Qin Baiyuan's mouth was really vicious. Compared to quarreling, it was more annoying for him to shoot arrows calmly. That's settled then. I'll wait for you at the door after work. Qin Baiyuan stood up. When he passed by her, he even paused for a moment. He was tall and had a mocking expression on his face. He looked at her maliciously. If you're thinking that my father will die quickly and the 30% of the shares will naturally fall into your pocket, I'm afraid you'll be disappointed. Even if something happens to my father, the Qin family hasn't died yet. You, Shi Shujing, can forget about taking over the nest. After saying that, he swaggered away. The only one who was disturbed was Shi Shujing's heart. Her good mood was all ruined by him. However, in the end she still compromised. It wasn't because of Qin Baiyuan, but because of Qin Yuning. In this kind of matter, she didn't want to be angry with Qin Baiyuan. She sent a text message to Si Wenxin, saying that she couldn't keep the appointment tonight. He didn't reply for a long time. Until he got into Qin Baiyuan's car after work, Shi Shujing was still looking at his phone from time to time. When it comes to being thick-skinned, if you, Shi Shujing, are ranked first, then no one is ranked second. Qin Baiyuan controlled the steering wheel and looked at the congested road in front of him. He suddenly spoke again. Waiting for the adulterer's phone call in front of your husband. You're really something. I'm used to it. I'm just afraid that my father won't believe that you're such a woman. Tell me, if you ask for a divorce in the future, the reason is still your betrayal. How are you going to explain it to him? He thinks that the Qin family has let you down, but the one who has really let the Qin family down is you. He will definitely be disappointed. Shi Shujing was impatient and put his phone back into his bag. This is a matter between us. There's no need to drag Dad into it. Why not? You've already lost your sense of shame. I think the only thing you have left now is your guilt towards Dad. Are you uncomfortable? You can't live without your own sins. Everyone has the right to blame me, but you, Qin Baiyuan, don't. My sins? Then how many sins have you committed? When we got married, I really planned to spend the rest of my life with you. I've never thought that. You've never thought that you could have a sugar daddy who is richer and more powerful than the Qin family? Qin Baiyuan snorted. He was not in a bad temper at all today. There was always a smile at the corner of his mouth, and his words were full of laziness. Everyone wants to climb up. I don't blame you. But you put a hat on me and I just can't swallow it. I, Qin Baiyuan, am not someone who can be used as a stepping stone. You've stepped on my pride to climb up. What? I don't want to talk about this now. Shi Shujing turned his head and looked out of the window. The traffic was already very congested after work. Quarreling with Qin Baiyuan made her feel even more depressed. After a long while she said, "Whether you believe it or not, these things happened. These days I've been feeling uncomfortable in my heart and I blame myself every day." She should have ridiculed her hypocrisy, but when these words came into Qin Baiyuan's ears, he was just a little moved. She was uncomfortable, but he was even more uncomfortable. He didn't expect that he would care about it so much. The deeper they fell, the more they tortured each other. He was also mentally and physically exhausted. It wasn't that he didn't think of divorce, but no matter how many times he made up his mind, in the end, he couldn't bear to. The neon lights in front of them stung Qin Baiyuan's eyes, and his head was a little dizzy. He didn't even realize that he had blurted out, "How about we start again?" The atmosphere in the car suddenly became dead silent. Shi Shujing couldn't believe her ears. She looked at him in surprise, but Qin Baiyuan looked straight ahead. For a moment, she wondered if these words came out of his mouth. No matter what kind of conspiracy he had by saying these words, Shi Shujing finally withdrew her gaze and lowered her head. "I'm sorry." His deep laughter came into her ears. "Do you really think that I want to start again with you? Don't dream. I just want to see where the moral bottom line of a woman like you is. Sure enough, you have no bottom line. You're a cheap woman." Qin Baiyuan's face was full of anger, and his whole face was almost green. His hand that was holding the steering wheel was so tight that the veins on the back of his hand were bulging because of the constant force. He was actually injured. Perhaps the atmosphere in the car was too oppressive, but he felt as if a big hole had exploded in his heart. A mouthful of blood rushed up, and his whole throat was filled with a strong taste of blood. In a rage, he stepped on the accelerator after the red light, and the car bounced forward, almost rear-ending the car. Shi Shujing's body leaned forward, and she was still in a state of shock. "There are so many cars now. You're crazy." "What? Are you afraid of death? If you're afraid of death, you won't be able to live with your adulterer forever? You're crazy." If Shi Shujing still felt guilty towards Qin Baiyuan a second ago, it was completely swallowed up now. "When Dad gets better, I'll talk to him about the divorce." "That's better. Don't delay me for even a moment. When it rains, it pours." The car suddenly broke down when the two were arguing. After getting off the car, Qin Baiyuan's face was livid, and he called someone to come over. "It's so congested now. It'll take at least an hour. We can't wait here. The hospital is not far away." Let's take the bus. I don't want to take the bus. Subway? Do you want to squeeze me to death? Sure, Shujing couldn't stand his pampered young master. Then we can walk there, right? It's just behind that building. Qin Baiyuan frowned for a long time. It seemed that he was also impatient to wait here. He walked forward with his two long legs. The crossroads were crowded with people. When the green light turned green, everyone hurried to go. Sure, Shujing's shoes were very high, so she was stepped on several times. At this time, a hand grabbed her and directly led her to walk. The pace was a little big, so she had to trot to keep up. But she was like a lonely boat in the wind and rain. She suddenly found a support and immediately felt relieved. When they reached the other side of the road, Qin Baiyuan let go of her. When Sure Shujing said thank you, he replied with a very disdainful word. Don't think too much. I just don't know the way to the hospital. Oh, Sure Shujing said. She knew that Qin Baiyuan had no sense of direction. When he drove, he relied on the GPS. He couldn't remember the way at all. It had been like this since they were young. Once, the two of them found the same place from day to night. She was so scared that she cried. There were many memories in the past. Looking back, although it was very far away, it was undeniable that Qin Baiyuan had made Sure Shujing fall in love with him like a moth flying into the fire. Qin Baiyuan left Sure Shujing behind and deliberately walked very fast. After a while he was sweating. Seeing a small milk tea shop in the roadside shopping mall, he went over and ordered a cup of milk tea. Two girls selling milk tea were pushing each other and talking and laughing. When they saw Qin Baiyuan, they were fascinated. But he was in a bad mood at this time and was not in the mood to show his charm as a playboy. He pointed to the signature pearl milk on the sign. I want this. Sure Shujing followed up and was a little panting. She didn't drink much water today and her throat was so dry that it was smoking. She ordered a cup of kumquat lemon. The two girls blushed and secretly pinched each other under the table. When Sure Shujing saw this, she felt that it was quite interesting. Back in the day, she was also 16 or 17 years old, and she had been mesmerized by Qin Baiyuan like this. She was extremely infatuated with him. Actually, it was quite good to simply like someone like this. Such feelings were not mixed with any impurities. It was not like now, where one would still weigh whether liking someone was more important or whether they were suitable. Such feelings had already changed in nature and had lost the most beautiful part. Sure Shujing took the lemon tea and was about to pay for it. Qin Baiyuan frowned and stared at her. Who asked you to pay for it? Do you think I need you to support me? Sure Shujing rolled her eyes. I'll pay for myself. I didn't say I'll pay for you. Chapter 146. Qin Baiyuan was speechless for a few seconds. If he talked to her, he would be looking for trouble. He rudely pushed away her hand that was about to pay, took out his wallet, handed over a card, and said arrogantly, "Swipe mine." "Sorry. We don't accept cards here. You can only pay with cash." This was challenging Qin Baiyuan's worldview. Is there any place where you can't swipe your card? As he spoke, he began to argue with the two girls, criticizing the service in the store for not being up to standard and not keeping up with the times. His words were forceful and righteous. Sure Shujing had never seen him so serious in a meeting. She knew it would be like this. As a young master, he spent thousands of yuan in one night. It was troublesome to bring cash and it was much more handsome to swipe his card. But this was a matter of more than 10 yuan. Who would pay for it? Don't argue. I'll pay. Sure Shujing took out his share of the money, which was 15 yuan in total. Qin Baiyuan felt a little embarrassed, so he hummed and groaned. I'll pay you back later. 10 times. 10 times was only 80 yuan, which was less than 100 yuan. Sure Shujing replied. Wait until you have cash. It was after work time, and the entrance of the building was very lively and brightly lit. They took a short break and drank their own drinks. The cold lemonade went into their stomachs and slightly cooled down their irritation. Sure Shujing looked at Qin Baiyuan. He still had a young face, only a little more mature than when he was in high school. At that time, she was still in junior high school and often went to the high school to watch him play basketball. He had many little habits, such as biting a straw and drinking pearl milk tea. She knew everything about him, but he knew nothing about her. He only knew that she liked him. In general, it was worse than a crush. The night wind on the square blew their hair, which was rare and peaceful. A mobile phone brand set up a stage and invited several models to walk on the show. One of them glanced at them and walked over. It was a very beautiful model. Her makeup was a little exaggerated, but it couldn't hide her tiredness. Boss Qin, do you still recognize me? Qin Baiyuan was not in the mood to pick up girls. With a straw in his mouth, He raised his eyelids and asked coldly. Who are you? As expected, you don't remember me. I'm Ai Meili, a model from Mei Xing. Qin Baiyuan seemed to have some impression of it, but he was not sure, so he joked. Sister, you must be kidding me. Are Mei Xing's models so miserable? Isn't this all thanks to you? When I first got together with you, I thought I was in a serious relationship. I even showed off to my friends. In the end, you dumped me after 2 days. I was even ostracized by my peers. I was even written about by those gossip magazines. Very quickly, I fell from heaven to hell. Those modeling agencies all knew about my past and refused to hire me. So, I could only accept jobs like this. I worked myself to death all night and only got 300 yuan. As far as I know, there are more than a dozen models and celebrities who are in the same situation as me. President Qin, you've wasted a lot of good girls. Shi Shujing felt a little pity for her. A woman should never choose the wrong man. Everyone thought that she was lucky to be with Qin Baiyuan, but in fact, no one knew whether she was lucky or unlucky. Sometimes meeting a man could ruin her life. When Qin Baiyuan heard this, he just smiled. So, it's still my responsibility? But why do I remember that it was you who threw yourself at me? I didn't provoke anyone. Now you're asking me for an explanation. Do you think it's justifiable? I don't have the guts to ask you for an explanation. You chose your own path. You can't blame others. Ai Meili smiled bitterly. Her smile revealed the vicissitudes of life. I was just thinking that you've hurt so many people. If there is karma, then it's about time for your retribution. Ai Meili patted his shoulder. I have to get to work. I can't talk anymore. You're crazy. Qin Baiyuan mocked. He didn't want to care about the nonsense, but his heart was heavy after listening to it. Love between a man and a woman should be consensual. He had never forced anyone, nor did he feel sorry for anyone. However, there were indeed many women who cried in front of him. If there was such a thing as retribution, perhaps Shi Shujing was his retribution. He had hurt so many women, but in the end, the one he hated the most had ruthlessly put a hat on him. When they arrived at the hospital, Shi Shujing chatted with Qin Yuning for a while. Qin Baiyuan invited the doctor in. His expression was not relaxed. Qin Yuning looked at the expressions of the two of them and knew that the situation was not optimistic. He sat up. Doctor, tell me. According to the results of the examination yesterday, I'm afraid your condition has worsened. However, it can't be said that there is no hope at the moment. First, relax and persist in the treatment. We have already contacted the best doctors in the United States. They will be here next week. Maybe they have already developed a new drug. Qin Yuning nodded. He was very open-minded. Then I'll have to trouble you. Shi Shujing's nose was sore. He wanted to cry, but he endured it and forced a smile. Dad, don't worry. The medical skills in the United States are much more advanced than ours. There are so many people with stomach cancer now, but there are still some lucky ones. You must be one of them. Qin Yuning patted her head and joked. Since you've said so, how can I not be? My body's foundation is still good, so I can hold on. He turned his gaze to Qin Baiyuan and seemed to smile. I heard that you've changed recently. Several projects have been handled by you personally, and you've done a good job. This was the first time he had praised himself. She looked up and saw Si Wenxin standing at the entrance of the corridor. His eyes were locked on the two of them from a distance. He was wrapped in black, which made his face look even darker. Shi Shujing panicked and pushed him slightly. You. Let go of me first. Qin Baiyuan was pushed away by her. He thought that his abnormality had frightened her, but her expression was more than that. He looked back and saw that it was the man he hated the most. He stood there in a dignified and calm manner. He was full of pride and his expression was magnanimous. But behind his back he had done dirty things. However, separated by such a distance, Qin Baiyuan felt more than hatred, but the gap between the two of them. To Shi Shujing's surprise, Qin Baiyuan did not stop Si Wenxin. He did not even say a word of mockery. It was probably because Qin Yuning's illness was too big a blow to him that he no longer had the strength to care about other things. Qin Yuning was very surprised by Si Wenxin's arrival. Why is Mr. Si here? I heard that CEO Qin is in the hospital, so I naturally came to visit. I should have come earlier. I had things to do in England and couldn't leave. Sorry. Si Wenxin's tone was quite polite. His attitude was better than the last time at the dinner. It wasn't that he had deliberately put on airs last time, but although Si Wenxin wasn't high and mighty, he never took the initiative to get close to others. It was as if he was born to keep a distance. Wherever he was, the air was very thin, especially in such an environment. Shi Shujing didn't know what to do. Dad, I'll go wash some fruits. No need, I don't want to eat now. Sit down. Qin Yuning and Si Wenxin were talking about work. Si Wenxin said that the project was going smoothly. Then he looked towards Shi Shujing. This is all thanks to Manager Shi. She put in a lot of effort and worked very hard. That's right. I'm not boasting, but our family Shujing is really not bad. She's a very outstanding girl. She's capable and sensible. I'm at ease leaving things to her. The pride in Qin Yuning's tone made Shi Shujing so ashamed that he couldn't raise his head. Manager Shi, I'm thirsty. Is it convenient for you to pour me a glass of water? Shi Shujing's heart tightened. Just as he replied with a okay, Qin Baiyuan, who was beside him, stood up first. Si Wenxin wasn't angry. Instead, he touched her face and murmured comfortingly. What? When we met in the morning you clearly missed me. My father-in-law is in the hospital and I'm very frustrated. I don't have time to think about that. She recalled that he had pressed her against the stairwell like this during the previous dinner. You really shouldn't have come here. I've always felt guilty towards my father-in-law. Now that he's sick, you still came to the hospital. Do you want me to die of guilt? I know you're in a bad mood, so I'm here to comfort you. You call this comfort? Shi Shujing sneered. You're just like before, trying to tease me and embarrass me. But you also know the occasion. You came to the hospital like this. Do you think my father-in-law won't be suspicious? Even if he's not here, I'll still feel ashamed and guilty. Si Wenxin frowned. You don't owe anyone from the Qin family. You don't have to feel ashamed. No, I owe him. You can't imagine how good my father-in-law is to me. But what about me? He's been so good to me, yet I betrayed him. I feel so dirty. Those feelings of disgust all surged up. In addition, in the hospital, people's mood was even more depressed. Shi Shujing's pain was even more severe, and his emotions also became somewhat agitated. If something really happens to him, I won't be able to forgive myself for the rest of my life. Why do you always think that way? Let's not talk about Qin Yuning's motive for treating you well. Even if he's sincere, he's willing. He shouldn't have become your moral shackles. Are you living for yourself or for the Qin family? Have you figured it out? You don't owe anyone. Even if Qin Yuning really dies, it has nothing to do with you. The last sentence stung Shi Shujing's nerves. His eyes immediately turned red. His nerves, which had been tense for the past few days, were on the verge of collapse. Of course you say that because you're a heartless and selfish person. You've always thought about yourself. You only think about your own preferences. If you like it, you can take it by force. You don't feel any pressure. But what about me? I've betrayed him. I won't feel at ease for the rest of my life. I'm not the same kind of person as you. I don't have the right to do as I please. My heart hasn't died yet. If I do something wrong, I'll feel guilty. I'm not as insensitive as you. Si Wenxin's gaze darkened as if he had suffered a heavy blow. The center of his pupils suddenly shrank, and the gloominess sank to the corner of his mouth. His lips slightly tightened, and even his aura became ice-cold. Take it by force? Is this what you think of our relationship? Isn't it? You're like a devil, leading me to commit a crime, walking on a path of no return. I don't understand why it's like this. Si Wenxin frowned deeply. If you don't want it, it's useless for me to pester you. Ask yourself, have you never felt anything for me before? So what if I have? That's because I'm too desperate. After being married for 3 years, I haven't received a bit of Qin Baiyuan's love. I'm very weak. At this time, as long as there's a man who cares about me, my heart will be moved. You're just my life-saving straw. If Qin Baiyuan loves me, I wouldn't have any relationship with you. Si Wenxin tried his best to understand her. When a woman was angry, she would say something out of anger, but it didn't mean that she really thought that way. However, he was also a man with a temper. Perhaps it was inappropriate for him to come to the hospital today, but that was because he missed her too much. In front of Qin Yuning, he had already tried his best to suppress himself. Why was she still so agitated? Could it be that in her eyes he couldn't compare to the Qin family? What life-saving straw! How could he, Si Wenxin, be reduced to Qin Baiyuan's substitute? How could that be possible? Anger rose to his head and he pinched her chin. His gaze was cold, but he still controlled his strength so that he wouldn't hurt her. Take back that last sentence. I won't. Shi Shujing stubbornly looked at him. You don't want to hear it, but it's the truth. I order you to take it back. I don't want to. Si Wenchen was sullen, but he couldn't bear to use any means to deal with the woman he liked, so he could only endure his sincerity being ruthlessly trampled on by this woman. Shi Shujing trembled in this kind of atmosphere. His heart was cold and filled with despair. Si Wenchen, let's end this. He knitted his brows. He didn't expect her to say this so easily. Say it again? Let's end this. Shi Shujing's eyes reddened. He tried his best not to let the tears fall. This relationship can't even be called a relationship. There's not a day that I don't feel tortured by guilt. I'm going crazy. I just want everything to get back on track. I really can't take it anymore. Please let me go. Si Wenchen pinched her chin. His hot fingers gradually turned cold, and his breath also slowly turned cold. He stared at her desperate face and opened his mouth, wanting to say something more than once, but in the end he didn't say anything. Instead he laughed. That kind of smile was filled with ridicule and it was bone-chilling. He seemed to think that everything had become very absurd, so absurd that he didn't have the strength to complain. He only sneered, then let go of her and took 2 steps back. If you think I'm your burden, then you can go back to your original life. The door was violently slammed shut. That heavy blow pierced Shi Shujing's heart, and the blood in her body suddenly froze. She leaned against the wall, and her body helplessly slid down. She hugged herself tightly and buried her face deep into her knees. That night, Qin Baiyuan stayed in the hospital to take care of Qin Yuning, and Shi Shujing left alone. When she was waiting for a taxi at the entrance of the hospital, a car was parked not far away. The car's lights were on, and she inadvertently glanced at it. A man and a woman were quite intimate, and the woman was actually Yin Jingqi. She patted the man's shoulder and got out of the car. The man was about 40 years old. She had never seen him before, so she couldn't see him very clearly. After getting out of the car, Yin Jingqi watched the car leave before entering through another door. She didn't find Shi Shujing. Shi Shujing panicked a little. Could it be that Yin Jingqi, however, she wasn't sure if touching his head and patting his shoulder was considered too intimate. Perhaps she was just too sensitive. After all, in the past few years she and Qin Yuning had a good relationship. Moreover, the Qin family was a big family, so they shouldn't have the guts to betray them. When she returned home she cried for a long time. She felt wronged and sad. She told Si Wenchen to break up, but she was just impulsive. She didn't want to, but she had already said it, so she couldn't regret it. The situation in front of her also didn't allow her to regret it. She slept the whole morning in a daze and went to work in the afternoon. The secretary was shocked by her 2 dark circles. Manager, did you go to steal last night? Shi Shujing supported his head with one hand and pinched the space between his eyebrows uncomfortably. What's the matter? It's not good. The Ocean Group has suspended our project and said that it will be put on hold for a period of time. What happened? Shi Shujing ignored the pain and sat up straight. Have you contacted them? What's the reason? I don't know. They didn't say anything. The project was going well, but it stopped just like that. There must be something fishy. Could it be that Tianyu still holds a grudge against us for stealing the contract and is messing with us behind our backs? Chapter 148. Shi Shujing did not call Si Wenchen directly. She first contacted some of the people in charge who had worked with her before, but they all said that they were also puzzled and did not know the reason. After calling them all afternoon, she could only contact Si Wenchen in the end. Although the 2 of them were in an awkward situation, she did not want to mix business and personal matters with each other. The first call was not answered, so she braced herself and continued to call. After calling a few times in a row, no one answered. He always carried his phone on silent mode during meetings. If it was inconvenient, he would just hang up. He had never refused to answer the call. At this moment, the uneasiness in Shi Shujing's heart spread even deeper. Could it be that the suspension of the project was also his decision? It was useless to continue guessing here. Shi Shujing contacted Manager Qin, who had a lot of power in the past. She tried her best to persuade him to come out, studied his preferences and gave him gifts. After a series of twists and turns, Manager Qin was finally willing to tell the truth. I really don't know. I also suddenly received the order in the morning and I was stunned for a while. Usually if there were any problems they would first go through me and then report to the higher-ups, but there was no problem here. I just received an order from the higher-ups. The higher-ups? Yes. Manager Qin said mysteriously. Manager Shi is very familiar with our boss C, right? We've only met a few times at work. I saw that boss C valued you quite a lot before. Blue Sky was able to win the project, and the other companies were not convinced. They all said behind their backs that it was an under-the-table operation. I can't say for sure whether it was true or not, but Boss C did give you a lot of preferential treatment. So I'm thinking, could it be that you did something wrong and offended Boss C? Sure, Shujing had always had this kind of speculation. After all, the only person in the Ocean Group who had the power to suddenly suspend the project was Si Wenqin. As soon as they broke up yesterday, there was a problem with the project today, and the timing also matched. However, she was not willing to think in that direction, nor did she think that Si Wenqin was a person who would use his power to take revenge. In short, she was also very conflicted. Of course, in front of outsiders, she still had to maintain her innocence. I think you've been misled by the gossip magazines. Mr. C and I are just partners. How can there be any preferential treatment? The bidding on that day is also the result of the referendum. Manager Chen was also a very gossipy person. She had probably confirmed their relationship and couldn't find out anything from Shi Shujing, so she inevitably felt that she was too hypocritical. Only Manager Shi knows. Anyway, we are just employees. Everything will be arranged by the higher-ups. I can't help you with this matter. You can only look for Boss C yourself. Shi Shujing had been calling Si Wenqin for several days, but no one answered. She had also contacted his secretary, but he kept saying that he was in a meeting. After Yin Jingqi knew the situation, she had already begun to pressure her, as if the project was suspended because of her. Whenever Shi Shujing faced her, she would think of the situation in the car that day. However, no matter how she looked at it, she didn't think that a strong woman, like Yin Jingqi, would betray him at this age. After several days of unsuccessful contact, Shi Shujing went directly to the Ocean Group. The secretary still said the same thing, that Boss C was in a meeting, and it was not convenient for him to meet guests. We had a good cooperation before. How could it be suspended just like that? Is there any misunderstanding? I'm just a secretary. I don't know. Only Boss C knows. Shi Shujing was anxious. But I can't see him now. Is he deliberately not seeing me? Can you help me pass on the message again? I'm very anxious here. The secretary sighed. Many people are anxious to see Boss C every day, but can I go and bother Boss C every time something happens? I'm just a small secretary. Don't make things difficult for me. In the office, Tang Jun sat on the sofa with his legs crossed, casting a sympathetic look at Si Wenqin from time to time. He looked out of the window and stopped smoking. His hands were in his trouser pockets and no one knew what he was thinking. His emotions were deeply hidden. If even smoking couldn't solve the problem, it must be a big problem. And if it could cause trouble for him, the cold-faced king of hell, it must be a relationship problem. Tang Jun teased. What? Are you out of love? I heard that you suddenly suspended the cooperation with Sky Beauty Region. That Mrs. Qin, oh no, Miss Shi, is now anxiously looking for you. When did you become so inseparable from public and private affairs? Quarreling is quarreling. How can you stop the project just like that? Si Wenqin turned his face sideways. The sunlight outlined a dark shadow on his face. His side profile was gloomy and somewhat thought-provoking. Do you think I'm that kind of person? For a moment, Shi Shujing and Si Wenqin completely cut off contact. This brought her back to reality. Si Wenqin was such an unreachable man. When he wanted to pester you, he would appear at any occasion. But once he decided to disappear, it was as if he had vanished from the face of the earth. She couldn't contact him no matter how hard she tried. She should never have treated him as an ordinary man just because he was nice to her. He was probably hurt by her words that day and wanted to draw the line. Shi Shujing didn't want to pester him, but this wasn't the time for her to throw a tantrum. For the sake of the project, she had to get close to him at all costs. After hearing that he was going to attend a charity dinner that night, Shi Shujing also got an invitation. Because the dinner was grand, she also dressed up meticulously. Many of the guests at the dinner were people she had worked with before. After all, there were only a few wealthy people in Flozen City's upper-class circle, and these were all familiar faces. However, they didn't recognize her, and there were a few who came over to strike up a conversation with her. She responded perfunctorily, her eyes constantly searching for Si Wenqin. Seeing that the dinner had been going on for more than an hour, and he still hadn't appeared, Shi Shujing was burning with anxiety. Could it be that the information she had obtained was wrong? Or did he suddenly change his mind and not come? Then her efforts today would have been in vain. In this anxiety, another hour passed and the dinner was coming to an end. Shi Shujing decided not to waste her energy. After going to the washroom, she left while texting. She walked too fast and bumped into a wall of people. Her shoes were too high and she lost her balance for a moment. She took a step back, but fortunately the other person caught her in time, or else she would have fallen flat on her back. "Thank you. You're welcome." Shi Shujing suddenly raised her head. In front of her was a cold, calm, and extremely beautiful man. It was Si Wenqin with a cold aura around him. She had originally given up, but she didn't expect to suddenly meet him. She couldn't help but be startled as if it was a lifetime ago. And Si Wenqin waited for her to stand firm before withdrawing his hand. He was so cold as if they were just two strangers. His gaze was very deep, like a dim cold light, causing people's hearts to tremble. "Manager Shi, long time no see." His attitude was polite and cold, causing Shi Shujing's heart to burn with anger. He said it so casually, but did he know that she had been looking for him like crazy in the past few days? He had given her too many misconceptions before, making her think that when she needed him, he would definitely appear. But such a man who stood at the top of the pyramid, how could a small person like her be able to see him whenever she wanted? If he had the intention to avoid her, she wouldn't be able to see him for the next few decades. He was the one who threw a stone into her heart, stirring up her heart lake, and then easily withdrew, leaving her alone so intensely, missing him. Shi Shujing was very emotional at this moment. She really hated Si Wenqin's behavior of suddenly disappearing after completely disrupting her life. He could so forcefully invade her life and stir up her heart, but he could also so easily return to his original position, as if the two of them were just strangers. He was mature and capable, and she was just an ordinary little woman. In terms of feelings, she was not his opponent at all. Suddenly, she wanted to throw herself into his arms and cry, complaining about her grievances and sadness for the past few days. However, Shi Shujing couldn't. The one who proposed the breakup was her. Even if her feet were stepping on thorns, she must face everything with a smile. "Yeah, long time no see. Boss C is so busy it's really hard to see him." No matter how hard Shi Shujing tried to suppress it, the words that came out of her mouth were still sarcastic. Si Wenqin looked down from above, looking at the dark circles on her thin skin. He knew that she wasn't living well, but she could only force a smile. He was very distressed, but he didn't intend to so easily pretend that nothing had happened and reconcile with her. "I've been working a lot recently, so I have no time to leave. Boss C, you need to take care of yourself," Shi Shujing said politely. "About the suspension of the Sky Beauty Region project? So you're here." A beautiful figure held onto Si Wenqin's arm. It was a dazzling woman. Shi Shujing recognized her. She was a very popular female celebrity recently. She was even more beautiful in real life than on TV. She was tall and wore an evening gown. Her slender figure made her look very pleasing to the eye when she stood together with Si Wenqin. It turned out that he didn't come alone. Shi Shujing's heart felt as if it had been pierced by a needle, and it was full of pain. "Then I'll take my leave first." After Si Wenqin finished speaking, he left with her. Shi Shujing stood at the same place and his legs seemed to be glued to the ground. He turned his head and followed the two of them. Si Wenqin held a wine glass in one hand, and his other hand was wrapped around the beautiful female celebrity. He walked through the crowd and the guests all came forward to shake hands with him. He talked and laughed in a carefree manner without putting on any airs. He was calm but not arrogant, calm and elegant. In the crowd, he was always the most eye-catching one. Shi Shujing's whole body was soft, and the pain was like poison, spreading throughout his body. The dazzling Si Wenqin in the crowd became unreal, as if the distance between the two of them was like a ladder to heaven. Chapter 149. But it gave her the feeling that the whole world she lived in had been taken away by someone else. A big hole had been dug in her heart, and it was dripping with blood. Shi Shujing wasn't sure what was going through her mind. She stayed behind and waited for Si Wenqin in the corridor when he went to the washroom. He walked past her without looking sideways. Shi Shujing hurriedly pulled him back, but as soon as he turned his head, she withdrew her hand in fright. She calmed herself down. "Boss C." At this moment she felt very humble. Si Wenqin turned around with both hands in his trouser pockets and looked down at her. Under the contrast of his suit, he looked even more serious and unapproachable. His temperament was very cold. "You actually made Manager Shi wait for me at the entrance of the men's washroom. It seems that the Sky Beauty Domain project has really caused you a lot of trouble. It's good that Boss C knows. I don't understand. Hasn't it been going smoothly for the past half a month? Why did it suddenly stop?" Si Wenqin was calm and composed. "Why do you think it is? If I knew, I wouldn't have used such an inappropriate method." Shi Shujing was a thin-skinned person. It really took a lot of courage to ask her to wait at the entrance of the men's washroom. The people coming and going were all looking at them. If it's because I said something inappropriate and offended you, I apologize. Inappropriate words? Si Wunshin raised his eyebrows, his gaze like a deep spring. What is Manager Shi referring to? She bit her lip, feeling embarrassed. The things that you said at the hospital. Oh, I've long forgotten about that. Even if someone wants to apologize, it shouldn't be you. Instead, it's me who disregarded the occasion and status to go to the hospital. It's my fault. I didn't mean to say those things. I was just under a lot of pressure at that time. My father-in-law was hospitalized, me and you and the company's matters. At that time I felt like I was about to collapse, so I understand. Si Wunshin interrupted her and said casually. Everyone is under pressure. It's understandable. By saying that, he obviously didn't want to hear her explanation. That kind of feeling was indescribably uncomfortable. Shi Shujing's heart was in pain. She felt that she was asking to be humiliated. No matter what, I'm very sorry. I don't want that matter to affect our cooperation. So, you think that I'm taking revenge because of what you said? Si Wunshin seemed to find it very interesting. How old is Manager Shi this year? 24? Do you think I would do something so senseless? Of course I don't want to think that, but the timing matches. No matter how it fits, it's just your speculation. Business matters were never smooth. Once there was a problem, the first thing to do was to look for the problem themselves and not think that the other party was deliberately making things difficult for them. Using public power to avenge a personal grudge. Ah, what a rich imagination. That's all I have to say. I also hope that Blue Sky can find the root of the problem as soon as possible and give me a reply. With that, Si Wunshin left, leaving behind a baffled and sad Shi Shujing. When he returned home, Shi Shujing felt that all the strength in his body had been drained. He sat on the sofa and was extremely distressed. Recently, his headache had become worse and he couldn't lift his strength to do anything. He wanted to take some time to go to the hospital to have a look, but he had no time to spare. The door opened and Qin Baiyuan walked in. He had been taking care of Qin Yuning in the hospital for the past few days. He was also exhausted and a stubble had appeared on his chin. Their eyes met. Both of them were very tired and didn't even have the strength to argue. How's Dad? Shi Shujing asked. The same. Qin Baiyuan unbuttoned his shirt with one hand. Why didn't you tell me about the suspension of the project? You're in the hospital. I don't want you to be distracted. He didn't say anything sarcastically and just asked. Did you break up with Mr. C? When he asked this question, Qin Baiyuan was very nervous. He didn't want to admit it, but he really cared about it. From the bottom of his heart, he would rather the project be terminated than Shi Shujing continue to be entangled with the other party. I've long said that he's not a good person, but I didn't expect him to be such a scumbag. He doesn't even have basic credibility. After playing with you, even the project was suspended. Did you play with him for nothing? Shi Shujing was already annoyed enough in his heart. At this moment, his face became even gloomier. Do you have to make it sound so unpleasant? He poured a glass of water and walked to her. Then tell me, are you guys over? Shi Shujing didn't say anything. Looking at her reaction, Qin Baiyuan thought that even if it wasn't completely over, it was almost over. To be honest, he did think that Mr. C more or less had some real feelings for Shi Shujing. Otherwise, the two of them wouldn't have been so hostile. But now, in this regard, he was much more magnanimous than that sh*t Mr. C. At least he never hid his feelings when he played with them, unlike the other party who pretended to be a gentleman. In fact, he was the worst scumbag. When he inherited Blue Sky, he would definitely get back at him for what he had suffered before. In short, Qin Baiyuan remembered this grudge in his heart. I've been contacting the Ocean Group for the past few days. They all said that it was Mr. C's idea. I've also looked for him, but it seems that there's a problem on our side. Are you kidding me? I personally checked every floor. What problem could there be? I think he's just making use of the pretext to make a fuss. It's obvious that he went back on his word, but he's still pointing the finger at us. Is he a man? He's not that kind of person. If he's not, who else is? Do you still believe him? I guess he promised you before that he would marry you as soon as you divorced, but what happened in the end? Didn't you still get dumped? How many times do you need to be taught a lesson before you learn your lesson? Men can't be trusted. Now is not the time to talk about this. After all, it's a cooperation between the two families. If there's nothing wrong, we won't rashly run aground. I think there might really be some problems on our side that we haven't noticed. No matter what, if something happens we should first find the reason. Tomorrow I'll bring the supplier's information over to take a look. Maybe I'll find some problems. Don't waste your energy. The problem is that he went back on his word. Although Qin Baiyuan said this, he also began to think about this matter in his heart. During this period of time, because Qin Yuning was hospitalized, he did not care much about the company's matters. Perhaps there would be some loopholes. After all, he was also a person with a brain and knew how to consider things. If the Ocean Group ran the project for no reason, he would definitely pursue it to the end. Sure, Shujing had a terrible headache. He opened the drawer and took out a strong painkiller. Just as he was about to put it into his mouth, it was snatched away by Qin Baiyuan. What are you doing? If you take too much of this medicine you'll die. Qin Baiyuan threw it into the trash can. Stop messing around, I have a terrible headache. If it hurts, go to the hospital. Don't be stubborn and pretend to be pitiful. Qin Baiyuan said impatiently. A hot towel has a little effect on migraine headaches. Lie down first, I'll get you a basin of water. Sure, Shujing looked baffled. What are you looking at? Don't misunderstand, I care about you. I'm worried about the project. If you die, won't I have one less person to send? Stop looking and lie down. Sure, Shujing lay down. Qin Baiyuan brought out a basin of hot water, rolled up his sleeves and wrung a towel. Close your eyes. He gently placed it on Sure Shujing's forehead and asked after a few seconds. How is it? Do you feel better? No, it still hurts. It won't work so quickly. Just bear with it a little longer and apply it a few more times. After all, you're a woman. Don't be more stubborn than a man. If you don't feel well, go to the doctor. What if you develop brain cancer after a long time? His impatient nagging was beside her ears, but Sure Shujing actually felt very at ease. Accompanied by his voice, she gradually fell asleep. Qin Baiyuan changed the towel several times until Sure Shujing was sound asleep. He touched her face, and the corners of his mouth unconsciously curled up into a faint smile. Sure Shujing decided to find the reason from the inside of Blue Sky. She had been in the UK for some time and didn't have time to care about the project. Chapter 150. For a moment, all the spearheads were pointed at Yin Jingqi, catching her off guard. She was a little flustered, but she still managed to calm herself down and asked, "What does Manager Sure mean? Does he suspect that I'm working with outsiders to earn money from the company?" "Of course I don't think so. I'm just afraid that Director Yin has entrusted the wrong person. The company that Director Yin has chosen is very serious in cutting corners. Didn't Director Yin notice it at all?" Sure Shujing's words were a little sharp when it came to business. Blue Sky is such a big company and I have a lot of things to do every day. How could I notice so much? If you hadn't abandoned the project, would there have been such a slip-up? You were the one who signed the project and you threw it to me midway. Now that there's a problem, you're blaming me. What kind of logic is this? Yin Jingqi kicked the responsibility back to Sure Shujing like kicking a ball. Sure Shujing was also full of anger. Who's right and who's wrong is our internal matter. We'll talk about it later. Right now, the focus is to solve this problem and rebuild the confidence of Ocean Group. Otherwise, how can we continue our cooperation? I think we should immediately terminate our cooperation with Tianhe Construction. No way. Yin Jingqi rejected him without even thinking about it. Blue Sky and Tianhe Group have signed a 5-year cooperation agreement. Isn't it a breach of contract to terminate it suddenly? It's the other party who cut corners first. Even if we go to court, they will definitely lose. Do you think this is good for Blue Sky? Yin Jingqi objected. How many companies don't cut corners now? Didn't Zhua Xian, who worked with us before, fail to meet the standards several times? But it's not as serious as this time. Ocean Group's project is about to be put on hold. Shouldn't we take immediate measures to solve it? How can you be so sure that it's the contractor's responsibility? Maybe Ocean Group is deliberately making things difficult for us. It's not like you don't know that Ocean Group is famous for being harsh. This is not the first time something like this has happened. It's also possible that there's a problem between you and Mr. C, and he brought his emotions to the project. The two of them were at loggerheads with each other. The other shareholders and managers did not dare to say anything. The conflict between the two of them had been going on for a long time. Everyone was on Yin Jingqi's side before, but now Sure Shujing had the same shares as Yin Jingqi and her son. No one dared to offend them and could only watch them quarrel. What problem do I have with Mr. C? That's just your guess, but it's an obvious fact that Tianhe Construction is cutting corners. It has to be dealt with. Stop arguing. Qin Baiyuan interrupted. He was obviously annoyed by the quarrel. Since there's a problem, let's solve it. Regardless of the reason for Ocean Group to suspend cooperation, substandard materials and false prices were all very serious problems. If we do this well, the other party won't have any reason to make things difficult for us. Yin Jingqi also understood that it was useless to continue arguing. It would only attract suspicion, so she could only suppress her anger for the time being. I didn't say that I won't solve it. Since the contractor was chosen by me, then I'll be responsible for this problem. I'll give everyone a satisfactory answer within 3 days. As she spoke, she glanced at Shi Shujing coldly. Her expression was not good either, but she did not say anything. After the meeting, Shi Shujing was asked to stay. There were only 3 people left in the meeting room. Yin Jingqi did not need to pretend anymore. Her anger flared up immediately. Shi Shujing, you were so impressive just now. Sure enough, your attitude is different now that you have the shares in your hands. Didn't you vent your anger by arguing with me in front of so many people? I'm just stating the facts. I didn't mean to target you. Shi Shujing only cared about the project. As for other unnecessary quarrels, she definitely did not want to be involved. She would rather keep the peace. You've already said that I chose the contractor. Why didn't you target me? The contractor was indeed chosen by you. I don't think there's anything wrong with me bringing it up. In fact, I'm really puzzled. Why are you still siding with him when it's obvious that there's something wrong with him? Of course I have my reasons for doing what I did. Do I have to explain everything to you? Do you really think that you have a lot of shares in your hands? These days, Yin Jingqi had been brooding about the shares. She could make a fuss about anything. With her temper, she could easily tear Shi Shujing apart. This is a problem with the project. It has nothing to do with the shares. Why didn't you close it? You're obviously... Stop arguing. Qin Baiyuan was annoyed and stood up. The two of them glared at each other. What's the point of arguing like this? Mom, this matter is indeed your responsibility. Why did you suddenly cooperate with a small company? And they're so unreliable. This matter will have a bad impact on Blue Sky. Yin Jingqi felt guilty. When she was provoked, she immediately raised her voice. You're actually helping this woman to criticize me? I don't mean to help anyone. I'm just stating the facts. What do you mean by stating the facts? I'm saying that she did something shameful and offended Mr. C. You're actually blaming me. You've also been bewitched by her. Mom, don't say anything. I don't want to hear a word. Yin Jingqi didn't even bother to tidy up the documents and strode out. As soon as she stepped out of the door, she immediately made a phone call. It's me. Shi Shujing didn't expect Qin Baiyuan to speak up for him. When he was tidying up the documents, he lowered his head and said calmly, You don't have to say that. Qin Baiyuan furrowed his brows. Do you think I'm helping you? Don't flatter yourself. You're really something. It's not like you don't know that my mom is a person who cares about her reputation. You're blaming her in front of so many people. It's no wonder that she's angry. I'm only responsible for the company's affairs, not the person. I'm the one who took over the project, so I have to be responsible to the end. It's the same for anyone else today. And it doesn't matter if your mom's angry. At the end of the day, it's still about the shares. Shi Shujing hugged the documents in front of his chest and looked at him calmly. The glasses covered his clear and bright eyes, but he didn't like what she said at all. What, my mom? Isn't she also your mom? Shi Shujing laughed. I don't know when she had a daughter. She was about to leave when Qin Baiyuan stopped her. Wait. After all, we're a family. He was very uncomfortable when he said this. Don't be too extreme in everything you do. In the company, she's the director and I'm the manager. There's no such thing as a family. Moreover, our marriage won't last long. It's better not to mix it up. After that, she left, leaving Qin Baiyuan with her back view. He stood on the spot, feeling very upset. Although Yin Jingqi promised to give him a reply within 3 days, Shi Shujing still couldn't rest assured because of her protective attitude towards Chenhe Construction. He made up his mind to go to Chenhe Construction personally. Shi Shujing got off work at 5 o'clock and went straight to Chenhe Construction. She hailed a taxi, but it suddenly broke down halfway. She had to get off the car and hail a taxi by the roadside. When she got off work earlier, the road was not very congested. But now she couldn't hail a taxi for a long time. The road gradually became congested. Cars were next to each other and she couldn't hail a taxi at all. What was worse was that it seemed like it was going to rain again, which made Shi Shujing very anxious. In a big city, the rush hour after work was the most annoying. Could drive people crazy. There was no subway station nearby, and it would take her at least 3 to 4 hours to walk by foot. The traffic slowly moved forward, and a black MPV stopped in front of her. The driver pressed the horn. When Shi Shujing saw the 499.99 on the license plate, she realized something. The window of the back seat rolled down, revealing a handsome face. The man in the car was dressed in a black suit, elegant and elegant. His eyebrows were like swords and his eyes were like a pool of deep blue water. It was just a brief exchange of eyes, but it made Shi Shujing feel like it was a lifetime ago. She subconsciously hugged the document bag tightly. After all, he was a very shrewd man. Si Wenchen looked at her calmly. His firm lips only moved slightly and a deep and magnetic voice came out. Waiting for a taxi? Shi Shujing pursed her lips and replied in an incongruous manner. What a coincidence. Her heart was not calm and her heart was in a mess. Do you need a lift? Is it on the way? I'm afraid it's inconvenient. There's a traffic jam at this point, and it's inconvenient to go anywhere. Si Wenchen was still waiting for her decision. Even if it was to help, he did not give her any sense of pressure at all. He was very gentlemanly and elegant. Shi Shujing looked at the sky. If she dilly-dallied any longer, it would start raining. She nodded her head. Then I'll have to trouble you. She sat in the car and integrated into his space. The feeling of uneasiness in her heart became clearer. She could not figure out her inner thoughts. Was it because of the situation or she wanted to see him? She did not know. Perhaps it was the latter. The more she tried to deny it, the more she was deceiving herself. When it came to relationships, she was weak and always liked to escape. There was an endless line of cars in front of them, one after another, moving forward bit by bit. The rain fell, and the rain gradually became heavier, beating against the car window with a pitter-patter. Shi Shujing felt that it was like a whip, lashing at her heart. Si Wenchen was a strong magnetic field. He did not need to do or say anything, and he had already exuded a strong magnetic force, affecting everything about Shi Shujing, including her heartbeat, breathing and pulse. The only good thing was that this business car was very spacious. The two of them sat on one side and there was a lot of space. Si Wenchen glanced at the file in her hand. The two corners were twisted out of shape. You still want to talk about the project after work? Yes. Speaking of this, Shi Shujing then remembered the serious matter at hand. I've already investigated. It's true that the contractor of Blue Sky has seriously cut corners and lied about the price. I'm very sorry about this matter. I hope you can give Blue Sky another chance. We will definitely give you a satisfactory answer. Why should I give Blue Sky another chance? Si Wenchen smiled. His eyes were like the calm waters and there was a kind of magic in his dark eyes. Her head was very low and she was sad, so she didn't notice Si Wenchen's gaze. He should have been tough, but when he saw the tears in her eyes, he still damnably softened and asked. Wronged? No, not at all. The responsibility is originally with Blue Sky. I don't have the right to be wronged. Shi Shujing looked out of the window. In the rain, the traffic was dense. Everyone in this city who was not struggling to survive. Compared to the time when she was left outside for a whole day by a client, or when they insulted her verbally, Si Wenchen was much gentler. I just want you to understand that the business world is like a battlefield. No one will be kind to you. If you are not facing me today, but another client, the other party will be even more impolite. If you don't have a strong heart, then you are not suitable to bear this responsibility. Shi Shujing smiled bitterly. She might not be strong, but she was not fragile either. If it was someone else, she would be anxious, but she would not be sad. The reason was because he was Si Wenchen. Only someone she really cared about could stab her heart with a knife and make her bleed. When she was hurt, she instinctively wanted to protect herself, using a strong shell as protection. Thank you, Boss C, for your guidance. I will remember it. I'm here, please stop the car. Si Wenchen had a lot of words to say, but they were all stuck in his throat. He could not say them no matter how hard he tried. In the end, he just signaled to the driver. Stop the car. Thank you. Shi Shujing was about to get off the car, but Si Wenchen grabbed her wrist. The long-lost touch, the familiar body temperature, made her sad and tears were about to fall. It was raining outside. Si Wenchen put the umbrella in her hand and silently watched her push the door open and get off the car. She did not open the umbrella and let herself get wet. Her back soon disappeared in the waning lights. He still stubbornly watched, and his heart was as depressed as the gloomy sky. Shi Shujing walked for a while and turned back. The car had disappeared. Just like their relationship, he would not wait for her in the same place, but her heart was taken away by him. The sky and the building. The secretary was on the phone when she saw a figure rushing over. Just as she was about to stop her, she was scared by her fierce eyes and sat back down. Yin Jingqi stormed into the chairman's office, slammed the door and opened her mouth to curse. Tang Nanli, do you want to die? At that time, Tang Nanli was leisurely drinking coffee with his legs on the desk. He was startled by the loud noise and almost spat out the coffee in his mouth. He quickly put down his legs. Why are you here? Yin Jingqi threw the document in front of him. Look at what you've done. Tang Nanli casually flipped through 2 pages, as if he had already expected Yin Jingqi to question him. He smiled mischievously. You said on the phone that you were coming to find me. I thought it was something big, but I didn't expect it to be just like this. Just? Yin Jingqi raised one of her eyebrows. She was furious. Is there something wrong with your brain? Do you know how big of a deal this is? Because of you, Ocean Group and Blue Sky have stopped working together. It's my fault. Calm down, you won't be pretty if you're angry. Tang Nanli quickly smiled and comforted her. What do you want to drink? I'll make you a cup of tea? Get lost. Don't touch me. Yin Jingqi angrily pushed his hand away. Her eyes were red and her body was trembling. I trusted you so much and you actually treat me like this. Yin Jingqi was extremely heartbroken. Tang Nanli was the most handsome guy in their high school. His grades were outstanding and the two dated for a period of time. Later, Tang Nanli transferred schools and their relationship ended. She didn't expect to meet again at a cocktail party a few months ago. She thought it was an old dream, but who knew that Tang Nanli went bankrupt? She couldn't resist his sweet words and gave him 10 million to start this company. She even gave him the Blue Sky contract. Who knew that she would shoot herself in the foot? How did I treat you? I'm innocent. Although Tang Nanli was almost 50 years old, his facial features were still very handsome. You still have the face to say that? I'm the one who opened this company for you. Not only did you not do a good job, you even made such a big mess for me. You're deliberately trying to kill me. Yin Jingqi grabbed her bag and smashed it at Tang Nanli. Go to hell, go to hell. Don't be like this. Tang Nanli was extremely annoyed with her, but he still pretended to be gentle on the surface. It's my fault, okay? I just wanted to earn more money to support you. He kept holding her hand. When she calmed down, he took the opportunity to pull her into his arms. You don't know how uncomfortable this feeling is. Every time you rush to the hospital to take care of that old man, it's more painful than killing me. I was anxious, so I did those unscrupulous things, but I did it all for you. Under his kisses and coaxing, Yin Jingqi's emotions gradually calmed down. Even so, you shouldn't have done this. Do you know how much trouble this will bring me? Shi Shujing used this matter to question me at the board meeting and even said that he wanted to sue you, but I stopped him. It's not easy for me. I know, it's been hard on you. Tang Nanli pinched her chin and smirked. I'll make it up to you later? Yin Jingqi's cheeks turned hot. Look at the situation now, you're still. I've been thinking about you all the time. Don't think that I'll forgive you like this. I know. I just miss you. Tang Nanli hugged Yin Jingqi, pressed her on the sofa and kissed her passionately. Be gentler. It hurts? Don't think that you can settle me just like that. Let me tell you, hurry up and exchange the materials and fix the price. Chapter 152. That's strange. The contract was signed by Director Yin and I. When did it become Manager Shi's responsibility? Tang Nanli probably felt that Shi Shujing was still young and inexperienced, so he didn't put her in his eyes. I was in charge of the project at the beginning. Now that something like this has happened, I have the responsibility to solve it. Then I'm really sorry. I only recognize the contract. I will explain to whoever I signed it with. Otherwise, how many times do I have to deal with all of you asking me to take responsibility every day? Shi Shujing had never seen someone so arrogant when they were clearly in the wrong. Director Yin and I are both employees of Blue Sky. What's the difference? I don't care who represents Blue Sky. In short, I will only explain to Director Yin. Shi Shujing took a deep breath. She could see that this Tang Nanli was relying on Yin Jingqi's support and didn't take her seriously. Yin Jingqi was supposed to be a swift and decisive woman at work. Why was she so clueless about right and wrong? Director Tang and Director Yin are very close? What does Manager Shi mean by that? Are you suspecting that Director Yin is biased towards me? I'm just asking. Whether it's true or not, Director Tang knows it in his heart. Yin Jingqi was Blue Sky's employee after all. Sure, Shujing couldn't bring up her shortcomings in front of an outsider. Even though it was hard to say whether Blue Sky was the outsider or Tang Nanli was the outsider. No matter who is in charge, your company's partner is Blue Sky. If you don't solve the problem, Blue Sky will definitely pursue it to the end. At that time, I'm afraid even Director Yin won't be able to protect you. That's all I have to say. Director Tang, think about it carefully. Tang Nanli was filled with displeasure. When he was building the company, Shi Shujing was still playing in the mud. Now she actually dared to bare her fangs and brandish her claws in front of him. Shi Shujing got up and left. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw a silk scarf on the sofa. It belonged to Yin Jingqi. She was very sure that she had seen Yin Jingqi wearing this scarf during the meeting today. It was a limited edition international brand and was very difficult to buy. After leaving Tianhe Construction, Shi Shujing went to Gao Zhuqing's house to have hot pot. During dinner, he told her about Yin Jingqi, which made Gao Zhuqing very excited. My God! The demoness actually betrayed us. Shi Shujing was suspicious, but when he heard the word betrayal from her own mouth, he felt disgusted as if he had swallowed a fly. That's impossible, right? Maybe I misunderstood. No, it's definitely not a misunderstanding. Gao Zhuqing forced himself to swallow a scalding beef meatball and said impatiently, Are you sure about that scarf? That means Yin Jingqi is definitely in his office. Maybe it's just a coincidence. It's Tang Nanli and the others? What's the point of deceiving yourself? You saw how intimate they were at the hospital. I'm not sure if I'm seeing things. Actually, you know what's going on, you just don't want to admit it. According to you, that Tang Nanli looks like a decent person, so it's normal for Yin Jingqi to be hooked up with him. Otherwise, with that kind of ruthless character, why would she harm the company's interest to protect a man? Let me tell you, no matter how powerful a woman is, she's still a fool when it comes to relationships. So, she's 100% a traitor. Gao Zhuqing said with certainty. All these years, Qin Yuning has never given Yin Jingqi a status, so she must have some resentment in her heart. The two of them have been together for a long time. At this time, a man suddenly appeared and he's still at the age where Yin Jingqi is like a wolf and a tiger. Is normal too normal? Shi Shujing originally had some doubts, but after hearing what Gao Zhuqing said, he became even more suspicious. Don't tell me, it's true? It doesn't matter if you don't believe me now. Wait until I find the evidence, then you'll believe me. When Gao Zhuqing's eyes shone with the shrewd light of a reporter, Shi Shujing's hair stood on end. What are you trying to do? Don't act recklessly. I'm just telling you this in private, don't make a big deal out of it. I know, I won't act recklessly. You promise? I promise. Gao Zhuqing raised 4 fingers to swear, but in his heart he thought that finding out the truth was the duty of a reporter, not to mention such a sacred matter, he wouldn't act recklessly. In short, as long as he wanted to, there was no truth that he couldn't find out. The hot pot at night was spicy and greasy, so Shi Shujing's stomach couldn't take it anymore. After taking a shower, she originally planned to continue working overtime, but who knew that her stomach would hurt badly. Lying on the bed for a long time, it didn't feel better. It was so painful that she didn't know whether to lie down or hold her stomach and squat on the ground. It was so painful. At this time the phone rang. She took the phone and saw that it was a call from Qin Baiyuan. She threw it aside. In less than 2 seconds the phone rang again, which hurt her skull. She picked it up impatiently. As a result, before she could scold, the other party had already questioned her. Where are you? Why haven't you gone home yet? At this time, it was 11 o'clock in the evening. Oh. He was talking about Qin Baiyuan's home, but it had never been Shi Shujing's home. The only person who made her feel warm was her father-in-law Qin Yuning, but he was seriously ill in the hospital now. She didn't want to go back to that empty house. It was too cold, like an ice house. Did you hear what you said? Don't play dead. I won't go back tonight. What? You won't come back? Were you with Mr. C? Shi Shujing, do you still have any sense of shame? I told you to go home, did you hear me? Shi Shujing roared in anger. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back in the future. You have no right to interfere with my freedom. She hung up the phone and threw it aside. She was exhausted as if she had fought a war. A while ago she saw someone share the harm of quick-acting medicine, so Shi Shujing had tried her best to take less medicine. However, the situation didn't improve after more than half an hour. She felt that she was going to die of pain, so she took her wallet and went downstairs to buy medicine. Gao Zhuqing was still working in the room, so she didn't disturb him. She bent over and covered her stomach with difficulty to walk forward. She felt pain with every step and cold sweat broke out on her forehead. At this time, someone suddenly grabbed her hand from behind. Shi Shujing was scared and screamed. She turned around and kicked the man's crotch. Qin Baiyuan dodged and shouted, "Do you want to end my family line? It's you?" Shi Shujing looked at him in shock, and her brows furrowed deeply. "What are you doing? I thought you were a psycho." However, Qin Baiyuan, was more terrible than a psycho. "You're the psycho. Have you ever seen such a handsome psycho?" Shi Shujing wriggled her wrist out of his hand. Qin Baiyuan was tall and had a tall and straight figure. He looked down at her from above. She was wearing thin pajamas and her hair was messy. She looked sloppy. He rarely saw her like this and it made him very uncomfortable. His anger rose by several degrees. "Where are you going in the middle of the night? Looking for an adulterer? Nothing good comes out of a filthy mouth." Shi Shujing ignored him, but Qin Baiyuan took a step forward and blocked her path. He interrogated her again. "Where are you going? It's none of your business. Get out of my way." Shi Shujing was in so much pain that her mouth turned pale. At this time, if he continued to pester her, she could kill him with a knife. "Tell me clearly, are you going to see him?" Qin Baiyuan was very jealous now. "I'm going to the pharmacy." "Why are you going to the pharmacy? To buy medicine? Damn it. Is he upstairs?" Qin Baiyuan's face was livid. If she dared to say yes, he would go up and fight with her. Shi Shujing's breath was very weak. It was almost doubting the structure of his brain. In his mind, besides the idea of betrayal, there was probably only how to play with women. He was getting more and more unreasonable. "You tell me, are you going to buy medicine?" I'm going to buy your head." Shi Shujing bit his lips. His teeth were stuck in his lips and he was trembling all over. "Qin Baiyuan, go to hell." Just now, Qin Baiyuan had only realized that Shi Shujing's expression was very ugly. Her face was as white as a ghost's and it was quite scary. He wanted to taunt her, but he couldn't hold back his worry, so he asked with a long face, "What's wrong with you?" "My stomach hurts." Shi Shujing supported himself with one hand on the wall. He couldn't stand steadily and his whole body was shaking badly. "Go to the hospital?" "I don't want to go now. Get out of my way. I'm going to buy medicine." She was about to leave when she was stopped by Qin Baiyuan. "Enough. How many steps can you walk in this state? Where's the pharmacy?" "I'll go." "It's none of your business." Another wave of pain hit him. It was so painful that Shi Shujing couldn't force himself. He could only point with his finger. "It's behind that alley." "Fine. Wait for me." Qin Baiyuan quickly bought the medicine and came back. The two of them sat in the car. He bought a bag of medicine and Shi Shujing held his stomach and gasped. You brought the pharmacy back? I don't have as many problems as you. How would I know what kind of medicine you want?" He took a few boxes and shoved them in front of her. "Which one? Qi Kong Ling? Labella? Sanji Wei Tai?" "Qi Kong Ling." Qin Baiyuan took out 4 pills and gave them to her. He also took a cup of warm water from the pharmacy. Shi Shujing couldn't wait to swallow it. "Are you feeling better?" Shi Shujing's face was pale and she was speechless. "Didn't I just take it? Do you think it's a panacea?" Qin Baiyuan didn't say anything. He just wanted her to stop the pain as soon as possible. Seeing her in so much pain, he was anxious and uncomfortable, but he couldn't help scolding her. "Why do you have so many problems at such a young age? Don't tell me it's an occupational disease. We Blue Sky don't mistreat our employees." But in fact, Shi Shujing's current problems were all caused by Blue Sky. She used to be in good health, but in the past 2 years she was too anxious to prove her strength to Yin Jingqi and Qin Baiyuan. She worked hard and often couldn't eat on time. In addition, she stayed up late and so on. Her body was gradually hollowed out. It was said that 25 years old was a hurdle for a woman. She was now at the edge of the hurdle, and her physical strength was declining in all aspects. She gritted her teeth. "Don't worry, I won't ask Blue Sky to compensate for the work injury. Not at first. I think it's karma, retribution for your betrayal." Shi Shujing was in pain and didn't speak. Qin Baiyuan was still pestering her. "I didn't believe in karma, but seeing you like this, I believe it. You'll have to pay for what you've done sooner or later. Do you really think you can be safe and sound after doing those things?" As he said these words, he was actually unhappy in his heart. "Even if you don't speak, I know you're not mute. If there was really karma, Qin Baiyuan, would only be qualified to be reborn as a pig in his next life and the life after that." "What? You're the only one who can betray but I can't say it? Chapter 153. You call me a dog? Qin Baiyuan was about to lose his temper, but he couldn't bear it when he saw her sweaty face and forced his words back. Are you okay? Go to the hospital if it hurts too much. It's no good to force yourself. I'm fine. It's just a common stomachache. I ate spicy food. Why did you eat it when you can't? I don't think you have a stomach problem, but a brain problem. Didn't you see Dad's condition? Do you want to damage your stomach too? Qin Baiyuan said these words of concern in a complaining tone. I've had enough. I don't want another person with stomach cancer around me. She turned off the air conditioner and opened the window to let the wind in. On such a night, Shi Shujing curled up against the car door, and Qin Baiyuan accompanied him silently. No one spoke. Qin Baiyuan suddenly felt that he would rather she quarrel with him and put on a brave front than to see her in so much pain. If possible, he would rather transfer the pain to himself and let him suffer for her. He didn't know that Shi Shujing would make him so worried. After a long time, the medicine took effect and the stomachache was slightly relieved. Shi Shujing asked weakly. Why are you here? Who asked you not to go home? I don't know what you were doing at Gao Zhuqing's house. You and that adulterer. A look of disgust flashed across Qin Baiyuan's face. Isn't it over? Why do you keep going to her house? Shi Shujing replied. Gao Zhuqing is my friend. What's wrong with me staying at her house? She's not a good person. Birds of a feather flock together. She's not a good person, neither am I. You and your gang of scoundrels aren't good people. Qin Baiyuan raised his eyebrows. Now that you've recovered, you have the strength to quarrel? But I'm not here to quarrel with you. In such a quiet night, looking at the dim street lights in the distance, perhaps because she was by his side, he unconsciously shed the thorns on his body and revealed a little fragile expression. During this period of time, I haven't been living well? Shi Shujing thought he had misheard. He slowly turned his head and saw a touch of melancholy in Qin Baiyuan's eyes. She knew that he was under a lot of pressure. As a young master who was ignorant of worldly affairs, he suddenly had to bear the responsibility of the entire blue sky. He also had to worry about his seriously ill father. He was also very bitter in his heart. As a proud son of heaven who grew up in a honeypot, he could not compare to her. In fact, his ability to withstand pressure was not very good. As long as there was time, Qin Baiyuan would slowly shoulder the responsibility of the entire blue sky. The bitterness in his heart was actually because of Qin Yuning's illness. Shi Shujing knew this very well, so she rarely mentioned Qin Yuning in front of him. The doctor said that my father's condition has worsened again. Qin Baiyuan sighed. His entire body was indescribably tired. He pinched the space between his eyebrows with one hand. I've thought of all methods, but the situation is getting worse. I don't know when he will. Now, there are also many patients with stomach cancer who can live for a long time through active treatment and maintain a healthy mentality. Life and death are fated. No one can escape this, but living one more day is one more day. Dad will not compromise with the demon of illness. I don't know. I really don't know. Qin Baiyuan smiled bitterly. I don't even know why at this time the person I want to see the most is you. When I returned home, facing the empty house, my mind was filled with you. I also thought about how uncomfortable it was for you to stay alone in the first few years of your marriage. He looked at her with a trace of guilt in his eyes. Shi Shujing, did I really hurt you deeply in the past? The loneliness, heartache, and tears of the past 1,000 days and nights had gradually become blurred in Shi Shujing's memory. However, it was indeed there. In those 1,000 days and nights, she slowly gave up on him. No matter how much passion she used to have for him, by now, it was completely cold like stagnant water. I was really a bastard in the past, wasn't I? It's really not easy for these words to come out of your mouth, Shi Shujing smiled. I thought that you would never realize this for the rest of your life. Although you're a scum, I also have my faults. At that time, I was ignorant and thought that one-sided efforts would definitely be rewarded. Only later did I realize that one-sided wishful thinking was so hurtful. I hurt you and I also hurt myself. Fortunately, this mistake is about to end. But I don't want it to end, Shi Shujing was stunned. He saw a sense of persistence in Qin Baiyuan's eyes. It was definitely not something that was said in a moment of impulse. Qin Baiyuan tried to fight for it. Since we were both wrong in the past, why don't we make it even? I'm really tired. I need someone by my side. Other than you, I can't think of anyone else. No matter how much we quarreled and tortured each other these years, you're still the one who understands me the best. I don't have the strength to meet another person, understand them and get used to each other. I just want to be with you and protect this family. Yes, I understand you. What you like, what you don't like, I remember everything from the moment I met you. Even the smallest details, I understand you better than I understand myself. But do you understand me? Let's not talk about anything else. Do you know what time I sleep, what time I wake up, what car I drive, what punctuation I use when I send text messages and what size shoes I wear? Qin Baiyuan was speechless. He couldn't even answer a question. He didn't even know the brand of her car because he didn't bother to know anything about her in the past. It's indeed much easier to be with someone who understands you, but that's only one-sided. To be honest, I'm already past the age where I feel happy to sacrifice myself for a person. I can't afford that kind of consumption. You want to find someone who understands you, so do I. I'm very selfish. I don't want to sacrifice any more. As long as you give me a chance, I'll slowly understand you. Those things only need time. As long as I have the determination, I can definitely. Shi Shujing shook his head. Let's not talk about anything else. I betrayed you. You can't accept this alone. Even if you say now that we're even, I won't believe you. In the future, won't you remember what I did with another man? You'll drive yourself crazy. I don't want to think about the future. Qin Baiyuan interrupted her irritably. I only know that I want you by my side now. I don't know when it started, but I've started to need you. The reason why I care so much about the matter between you and him is not just because of my so-called self-esteem, but because I care about you. I've long regarded you as my woman. I don't know. It's too complicated. Shi Shujing didn't want to think about it any further. Actually, I quite understand your current situation. Dad's matter makes you very troubled and very fragile. You need someone to accompany you. People are like this. If there's someone to go through the difficulties with, the difficulties won't be so severe. Don't worry, I'm not as heartless as you think. Dad is very good to me and I'll repay him. I'll accompany you during this period of time. As for the divorce, we'll talk about it when his condition gets better. Qin Baiyuan was very hurt and looked depressed. So, you must divorce? Silence meant affirmation. Qin Baiyuan suddenly felt that he was very ridiculous. He came here in the middle of the night and lowered himself to try to win back a woman who had changed her mind. Was there any meaning? He was just asking to be humiliated. Everything could be solved, but if a person's heart changed, there was really no way to change it. He could only feel lucky that at least they still had his father as a link. At least they still had a marriage. Once they divorced, he and she would really be completely over. There was a stream of moisture in his nose. Qin Baiyuan couldn't remember when was the last time he was sad for a woman. It was a matter of several years ago. But fate made a fool of people. He was actually sad for a woman who used to be the most disdainful. The atmosphere was so heavy that Shi Shujing found it difficult to breathe. Thank you for buying medicine for me tonight. I don't want to go home for the time being. You go back and rest early. She pushed the door and got off the car. Qin Baiyuan didn't stop her. Shi Shujing didn't look back and went upstairs. Gao Zhuqing came out of the bathroom and saw her coming in. He asked curiously. You went out? Yes. Romeo is here. Gao Zhuqing smiled slyly. What Romeo? It's Boss C. Shi Shujing rolled her eyes and ignored her. She entered the guest room. The window was facing outside. She sat there for a while and watched Qin Baiyuan's car leave. She breathed a sigh of relief. She turned off the light and didn't see a black business car parked for a long time under the shade of a tree not far away. The cigarette butts in the car flickered, and the ground beside the car door was full of cigarette butts. 2 days later, Shi Shujing was called into the office by Yin Jingqi. I've talked to their chairman about the matter of Tianhe construction. The batch of unqualified materials has been replaced, and the new quotation has been handed to the finance department. There's no problem. Shi Shujing came back to her senses after a few seconds. You mean you want to continue to cooperate with it? Yes. I object. The other party's behavior can be counted as a commercial crime. We should hold him responsible. Do you have to make a big deal out of it? Yin Jingqi's attitude was not very good. It was obvious that she was tolerating Shi Shujing today, which was why she didn't lose her temper. Tianhe Construction is our contractor. If you sue them, won't it be the same as letting outsiders know that there's something wrong with our company? Now that the Ocean Group's stalled project has attracted criticism, we should try our best to suppress the matter and not make it worse. Yin Jingqi's reason was not tenable at all. Naturally, Shi Shujing objected. Fine. Even if we don't sue them, we should immediately stop the cooperation. I naturally have my reasons for choosing them. I was in charge of this project from the beginning, so what? If you're really so responsible, you wouldn't have thrown it to me. Now that I'm handling this matter, you're interfering. What are you trying to do? I'm not trying to do anything. I've talked to Mr. C. He has a lot of opinions about this matter. If we continue to cooperate with Tianhe, he might completely terminate the cooperation. Yin Jingqi's mouth twitched. Chapter 154. I won't. Shi Shujing rejected her directly. As long as we continue to work with Tianhe, there will be hidden dangers. The same thing might happen again. I refuse to work with unreliable contractors. I'm the boss now and you're the subordinate. You just have to do as I say. Who gave you the right to object? Yin Jingqi used her power to oppress him. Either you report me to Chairman Qin and say that I'm abusing my power, or you do as I say. You know Chairman Qin's health condition. So there's no problem then? Yin Jingqi was in a hurry to end this conversation. As soon as she saw Shi Shujing's face, she had the urge to slap her. In short, your job is to carry out my orders. Unless one day you can sit in my position. Otherwise, before that, you will do whatever I say. Do you understand? Shi Shujing also knew that it was useless to argue. It was obvious that Yin Jingqi was going to protect Tang Nanli to the end. She sorted out the documents and braced herself to go to Ocean Group. She had thought that Si Wenshin would refuse to see her like before, but she didn't expect it to go so smoothly. Si Wenshin had just returned to his office after a meeting. When Shi Shujing entered, he was smoking. According to the secretary, the meeting had lasted for a few hours. He was probably a little tired, so his tie was a little loose. He didn't care about trifles, which made him look even more manly. Manager Shi, please take a seat. Si Wenshin got up and shook her hand. He pressed the internal line and asked the secretary to make 2 cups of coffee. I got someone to bring back coffee from Brazil. It's very mellow. Try it. Shi Shujing took a sip. It tasted a little bitter. If she wasn't particularly tired, she usually didn't like coffee. She would rather drink tea. She didn't know how to taste coffee, but she could taste that it was of high quality. For a person like him, which aspect of clothing, food, housing and transportation wasn't demanding? How's the taste? Very good. Shi Shujing smiled shyly but didn't take a second sip. I'm looking for you today about the loophole in this Sky Beauty project. I'm very sorry, but the problem has been solved. This is the new material report and quotation. Please take a look. She respectfully handed it over with both hands. Si Wenshin took it over and flipped through a few pages with a cigarette between his fingers. Is it the same contractor from before? Shi Shujing felt that there was a hidden meaning in his words. He pursed his lips and felt uncertain. It's still the original one. The company has decided to continue using it, but the previous problems have been properly dealt with. I guarantee that there won't be any more mistakes. Promise? You are Blue Sky. Are you really that confident? Si Wenshin looked into her eyes and asked. His eyes were dark and deep. He stared at her, waiting for a definite answer. His stare made her flustered. To be honest, she had no confidence. Although the problem in front of her was solved, there might be other problems in the future. But now that things had come to this, Shi Shujing could only bite the bullet and nod. Yes, I promise. Can your guarantee represent the entire Blue Sky? Shi Shujing nodded. Then, if there are any problems in the future, should I look for you and hold you accountable? His eyes were pitch black and deep. You can say that. I know that this incident has brought a lot of losses to your company. Blue Sky is willing to take responsibility, including financial compensation. Since the project has already started, I still hope that we can continue to cooperate. Shi Shujing was prepared to be rejected by Si Wenshin. Judging from his attitude in the car last time, it seemed that he had no intention of cooperating. Before coming, she had even thought of a long speech to persuade him. Si Wenshin pinched the cigarette and slowly puffed out a mouthful of smoke. His voice was enshrouded by the smell of smoke. Okay, I'll inform them. Shi Shujing was stunned. You mean, you agree to continue the cooperation? Si Wenshin smiled instead. Isn't this the purpose of your visit? Shi Shujing secretly thought in her heart. She didn't think it would be so easy. Time is money. Stopping work for a day is a loss for both sides. Blue Sky certainly has to take full responsibility for this matter. But since it is a cooperative relationship, then there is no need to be too ruthless. It is always good to leave some leeway. When he said this, he had the habit of a gangster and the taste of a businessman. It was very powerful. Shi Shujing nodded again and again. She should thank God that he was willing to let Blue Sky go. The construction site in Wuxia City has also started in the past 2 days. To prevent the same problem from happening again, you can take the engineering team of Blue Sky to visit the site. Is there a problem? No problem, we will set off tomorrow. I promise there will be no more mistakes. Shi Shujing was a little excited. She was so excited that she took a sip of coffee, but she drank it too quickly and scalded her mouth. Successfully continuing the cooperation, Shi Shujing returned to the company to report the good news to Yin Jingqi. At the same time, she specifically mentioned that Si Wenshan was very dissatisfied with Tianhe construction and tried to pressure Yin Jingqi. However, Yin Jingqi replied with a strange tone. What are you afraid of? If there is a problem, don't we still have you? That kind of sarcasm made Shi Shujing speechless for a long time. He was too lazy to quarrel with her. He was going to go on a business trip the next day. In the evening, Shi Shujing went home to pack his luggage. After taking a shower, Qin Baiyuan pushed the door open and came in. When they saw each other, they were both stunned. Obviously, they did not expect each other to be at home. Qin Baiyuan was usually not at home, and Shi Shujing often spent the night at Gao Zhuqing's place during this period, so the room was always empty. Not only that, the whole Qin family was now empty. You are back. Qin Baiyuan's eyes flashed with joy. Yes. Shi Shujing turned his face away and took a towel to dry his hair. Shi Shujing with glasses and without glasses were simply two different people. Now he would be amazed by her from time to time. At a certain moment, she could always fiercely shock his heart. Just like at this moment, he felt that she was so beautiful even when she dried her hair. Shi Shujing applied some toner and asked, "You just came back from the hospital? How is Dad?" "Still the same." Qin Baiyuan answered absent-mindedly. His two eyes were glued to her, red and hot like a wolf. Shi Shujing turned around and found that he had been staring at her. She felt a little uncomfortable, took out her suitcase and began to pack her clothes. Qin Baiyuan was anxious when he saw that. "What are you doing? Didn't you see it? Pack your luggage." "Damn it." He strode over, snatched the clothes from her hands and savagely threw them aside. "Who allowed you to leave?" Shi Shujing felt that he was unreasonable. "What right do you have to control my freedom? Just because you are my wife. Just for now. Soon you will not be." Shi Shujing tried to pick up the clothes, but was stopped by Qin Baiyuan. He was so strong that she was hurt. "What's wrong with you? Do you want to tie me up like last time? If you dare to be disobedient, I don't mind doing it again. I'm asking you what's wrong with you. My dad is still lying in the hospital, but you ran away from home. Where's your conscience?" Now, Qin Baiyuan could only use Qin Yuning to restrain Shi Shujing. Otherwise, he didn't know what position he had, because he was not in her heart at all. Shi Shujing was stunned. "Ran away from home? What are you talking about? You've already packed your luggage. Isn't it obvious enough?" He had such a big reaction because he thought she was going to. Shi Shujing didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "There's something wrong with your brain. How dare you scold me?" Qin Baiyuan was so angry that his face turned green and he was about to stomp his feet. Shi Shujing rolled his eyes at him speechlessly. "I'm not running away from home. I'm on a business trip." There was silence for a few seconds. Qin Baiyuan adjusted his mood with difficulty. "Aren't you going to live apart from me? You're thinking too much." For a moment, Qin Baiyuan felt abnormally embarrassed. In order to cover up this embarrassment, he suddenly became very angry. "How would I know? You damned woman. You're not at home every day. Who knows if you're going to move out and live with your adulterer? It's all your fault." "Who asked you?" Shi Shujing pushed him away, picked up the clothes on the ground and patted them. "You're the one who misunderstood." "What does it have to do with me?" It was rare to see him being defeated, so she couldn't help but tease him. "I can't tell that you're so nervous about me. Who's nervous about you? I just don't want Dad to know and be angry. If you want to leave, then leave. The further the better. Seeing you makes me annoyed." Shi Shujing shook his head. He was just so arrogant, childish, willful, and unreasonable. Therefore, most of the time she couldn't communicate with him at all. Even talking to him made her feel stifled. Silently watching her pack her luggage, Qin Baiyuan kept a straight face as if she owed him millions. When he opened his mouth to speak, his attitude was extremely bad. "Where are you going?" "Wuxia City." "The Sky Beauty Region project?" "Yes." "That bullsh*t Mr. C is going too?" Sure Shujing knew that he would say this. No. I'm going to Blue Sky with a total of 25 employees. Is it necessary to make such a big fuss? Doesn't the company have to spend money on the business trip? This money has to be spent. Last time, there was such a big construction loophole, and Ocean Group didn't hold us responsible. If we don't treat the Wuxia City project carefully, the cooperation will definitely be ruined, and they will sue us in the end. Do you want that? With you around, would Mr. C be willing to do it? Qin Baiyuan sarcastically said. My mom said that you're amazing. If it weren't for you, the cooperation between the two companies would be completely gone. You've really contributed a lot. This kind of thing had happened so many times that Sure Shujing was a little embarrassed. Instead, he replied with a smile. What's the use of just words? If you're sincere, show it on the year-end bonus. You? Qin Baiyuan's words were stuck in his throat, and after a few seconds he asked. Did you rekindle your old love with him? Sure Shujing's hand that was packing his clothes paused, and he answered lightly. No. Then why didn't he hold me responsible? Maybe he's in a good mood. I'm not a roundworm in his stomach. How would I know what he's thinking? I only know that I should thank God that he didn't hold me responsible. Otherwise, wouldn't I still have to beg him? Qin Baiyuan tried to find some clues from Sure Shujing's eyes, but he didn't find any. He couldn't help but want to believe her. So you're completely over? It's impossible? Chapter 155. How is it unrelated? You are my wife after all. Qin Baiyuan's anger softened. If you two end up together, you don't have to go to the step of divorce. You're wrong. Even without him, I will still divorce. Sure Shujing looked at Qin Baiyuan calmly. Her eyes were clear, frank, and firm. There was indeed some entanglement between him and me. I can't pretend that nothing happened. How can I face you and my father in the future? You have been bound by me for too long. After the divorce, you can choose the woman you love and start a new life. Her words were truly noble. Qin Baiyuan also knew that the problem she mentioned was real. He would never be able to forget it for the rest of his life, but compared to losing her completely, he would rather choose to be naughty and forgive her. He just couldn't cross the hurdle in his heart and just let go. He really couldn't bear to let her go. While talking, Sure Shujing had finished packing. She closed the suitcase and put it aside. You can sleep in the room tonight. I will sleep in the guest room. She left, taking away the fragrance of the room. Qin Baiyuan looked at himself in the mirror. He was left alone in the empty room. There were so many days and nights when Sure Shujing stayed alone in the empty room, and he spent his time outside with different women. But now the person who stayed in this empty house was him. The next day, a total of 25 designers, engineers, and other staff formed a team. Sure Shujing sent most of the elites. Of course, there was also a Blue Sky branch in Wuxia, but Sure Shujing thought that this was the only way to show the importance of the project in Wuxia. It was a 4-hour drive to Wuxia. The company chartered a bus and set off at 7 in the morning. The staff sat together and chatted. Sure Shujing sat alone in the second row from the back. The seats behind and beside her were also empty. She put on her headphones and was about to listen to music. A young and beautiful girl came over and pointed to the seat next to her. Sure Shujing shook her head. No one. Hello. I'm Zhang Jing, a newbie. I know you're a new designer and you've only been working for a month. Zhang Jing was flattered. There are so many people in the design department, but you still remember me? As the project manager, I have to remember every single employee. Sure Shujing saw that she had just graduated and was probably only 2 or 3 years younger than him, so he told her not to use honorifics. The car started and Zhang Jing chatted with her all the way. Really, I really admire you. I'm not trying to flatter you, I'm just saying this from the bottom of my heart. I heard that you've only worked for 2 years and you've already been promoted to a manager. That's amazing. They all say that you're very capable. Really? Shouldn't they say that I relied on my connections? Zhang Jing stuck out her tongue. Actually, that's what they said, but Chairman Qin is impartial. He's willing to promote you because you're capable, not just because you're his daughter-in-law. Besides, he gave you so many shares, which means he trusts you a lot. She looked around to make sure that no one was paying attention to them. Then she whispered to Sure Shujing. To be honest, it's more reliable for you to take over Blue Sky than for Chairman Qin. I heard that he doesn't go to work much and his private life is very messy. He used to have a woman named Su Jixin who worked in the company. Oh, I'm sorry, I almost forgot about you and Chairman Qin. What I mean is, you're really capable. People used to say that a good marriage is better than a good job, but society has changed. Even if you marry well, what's the point of being a puppet of the rich? Women still need to be capable. Anyway, I hope to become a strong woman like you. Shi Shujing looked at Zhang Jing. She was young, flamboyant, energetic, and ambitious. Girls who had just left the society had learned to be realistic and knew that they shouldn't rely on men. Of course, it was understandable that they should learn to protect themselves. But a few years ago she was still very simple. She married Qin Baiyuan right after graduation. She just wanted to be a good wife and mother. At that time the whole world was Qin Baiyuan. Even her job was to see him more often. She had no ambition at all, nor was she strong enough. She only cared about her family, but she didn't know how she got to where she was now step by step. Therefore, every step of her life might not go the way she wanted it to go. People were forced to be like that. What's wrong? Zhang Jing waved her hand in front of her eyes. Did I say something wrong? No. But Chairman Qin is really handsome. Men are fickle and they have their own charm. Otherwise, why do they say that women love bad men? But Zhang Jing hesitated. Compared to Mr. C, he's a little inferior. No matter what she said about Qin Baiyuan and Shi Shujing, it didn't hurt her at all. But when she mentioned Si Wenchen, she felt as if she was stabbed by a needle. She felt uncomfortable and fidgety all over. I don't mean anything else. I know those are just rumors. Zhang Jing hurriedly waved her hand. I'm just working with Mr. C, there's nothing wrong. It doesn't matter. Mr. C is so charming. I'm so infatuated with him. I really want to see him in person. I'm a little sleepy. I'm going to take a break. Did I say something wrong and upset you? I'm sorry, I'm a person who doesn't think before speaking. It's okay. Shi Shujing put on her earphones. The bus drove for a while and suddenly stopped. She stretched her neck to take a look and saw a figure getting on the bus. At first she thought her eyes were playing tricks on her, so she quickly rubbed her eyes. It was Si Wenchen wearing a white shirt and a pair of jeans. He looked very young and extremely handsome. His eyes were shining. Shi Shujing's heart skipped a beat. Why was he here? Zhang Jing was so excited that she pinched her hand. Mr. C. It's Mr. C. All the eyes on the bus were attracted by him. He signaled to the driver and the bus started again. He walked over steadily. Most of the people on the bus were men, and they all looked at him with admiration. Several female designers stared at him without blinking. They were so excited that their faces were red. His every step affected their breathing. Si Wenchen kept walking and finally stopped in front of Shi Shujing. Zhang Jing looked up at him and exclaimed in her heart. Is it convenient for you to change seats? He asked in a very polite tone. Change? What? Change seats? Zhang Jing couldn't react for a moment and pointed to her nose. You want to change seats with me? Si Wenchen nodded. If it's convenient. Zhang Jing quickly stood up, looked at Shi Shujing and nodded repeatedly. Of course, of course. Saying that, she gave her seat to him. She didn't forget to look at him for a few more times before going to the empty seat in front. Shi Shujing was sitting inside, but she could imagine that everyone in the car was looking at her. She felt very uncomfortable. Si Wenchen, on the other hand, was very natural and unrestrained. He sat beside her and his masculine scent filled the entire space. Why are you here? Business trip. Si Wenchen had long legs. He felt a little wronged squeezing into the seat and adjusted his posture. Isn't Blue Sky on a business trip? Si Wenchen tilted his head and smiled at her. It wasn't the warm kind and his smile was very shallow. Blue Sky had such a big loophole previously. I'm going to Wuxia City to supervise the work. Then why not fly there directly or take a car there? Flozhen City and Wuxia City are only 4 hours by car. It'll take nearly an hour to go to the airport and back, and we still have to wait for the plane. It doesn't fit the time cost. My driver is on leave, so I'll hitch a ride with Blue Sky. Is there a problem? Shi Shujing frowned. He was obviously talking nonsense. If you do this, the other employees will misunderstand. Si Wenchen didn't mind. You're the one who has a guilty conscience. It's normal for both partners to go on a business trip together. Moreover, you've always been in charge of contacting me. Of course, I have to sit with you. On the way there, it'll be convenient for us to talk about work. If you're honest, then there won't be a problem. Are you going to avoid me just because we've been in the news before? If that's the case, people will suspect that you're guilty. She couldn't understand what he was thinking. Previously, he was avoiding her with a cold attitude. Now he was taking the initiative to approach her. What kind of game was he playing? Shi Shujing felt a little stuffy in her chest. Usually she would need to eat some snacks at this moment. However, with Si Wenxin beside her, she felt embarrassed. After a long while she really felt like vomiting and took out a bag of plum candy. Out of politeness she asked Si Wenxin, "Do you want some?" She was just asking symbolically. She knew that men didn't like sweets. Who knew that Si Wenxin would actually nod his head? She was stunned and didn't give it to him. The corner of Si Wenxin's mouth twitched as he teased. "You're the one who said that you would give it to me. Now that I want it, you're not giving it to me? Are you messing with me?" She quickly took out a piece and ate one for herself. It was sour and the feeling of nausea was slightly alleviated. "Are you carsick?" "Yes. I don't get carsick when I'm driving, but I will when I'm on a long-distance bus. Especially when I'm looking out of the window, the scenery flashes by too quickly. It's easy to get dizzy." "Is that so? Then you won't feel dizzy when you look at me." Shi Shujing secretly let out a small sigh. "Can't I feel dizzy when I look at him? It's also a sin for a man to be too good-looking." She was so mesmerized that she felt dizzy. Halfway through, Si Wenxin received a call. "It's me. He's here so early? Then let him wait in Flows and City for a few days and treat him well. If there are any other problems, wait for me to come back. The meeting will also be postponed for a few days. As for the suburban project, I'll deal with it when I come back." He explained that there were so many things that Shi Shujing couldn't even remember them all. It was no wonder that a CEO like him was usually very busy and had a lot of things to deal with. After he hung up the phone, she couldn't help but say, "Since you're so busy, you don't have to go to Wuxia City personally to supervise the project. If you're worried, you can arrange for someone else to do it." Si Wenxin kept his phone and looked into her eyes as he spoke. "I've always done important things personally." The car was swaying, making people feel sleepy. Shi Shujing woke up too early in the morning and was also sleepy at this moment. He kept yawning. Chapter 156. His heart was suddenly at peace and a warm feeling welled up. He vaguely felt that he wished this could be forever. The Shi Shujing sleeping in the sun was so adorable that he could never get enough of her. He didn't have any tender feelings himself, but when he met her, he knew what it meant to soften a well-tempered steel. He wanted to pamper and love her forever. Shi Shujing had a dream. In the dream, she and Si Wenxin were playing in the sea together. It was as if they were the only two people left in the world, and they were having a great time. When she woke up, there was a smile on her face. In her daze, she felt that the sun was shining brightly, and a face gradually became clear in her sight. That person's smile had the taste of sunshine. "You're awake." She looked at his face in a daze. For a moment, she couldn't distinguish between reality and dream. If this was a dream, she hoped that she would never wake up. While they were staring at each other, Si Wenxin lowered his head. His face was getting closer, and his thin lips finally landed on hers. The light touch was like a dragonfly skimming the surface of the water, but it made her feel an electric current running through her body. It was as if she was enchanted, causing her to be stunned for a long time. When she came back to her senses, she hurriedly pushed him away and looked forward in panic. Fortunately, the front seat was blocking her, so no one should have seen the scene just now. She looked at Si Wenxin again. He was already facing the other side of the window, as if nothing had happened just now, and it was just a dream. Was it a dream? Shi Shujing touched her lips. It was still a little hot and there was a faint scent of tobacco. Everything proved that the kiss just now really happened. Her little heart just returned from the roller coaster, and her stomach went on the roller coaster again. The car jolted, and Shi Shujing felt an uncontrollable nausea in her chest. She hurriedly covered her mouth and searched for the plastic bag in her bag, but she couldn't find it. "Want to vomit?" Si Wenxin asked. Shi Shujing hurriedly nodded and pointed to her bag. He understood and quickly took out the bag. As soon as Shi Shujing took it, she began to vomit violently. He put one hand on her back and gently smoothed her back. Only then did the nausea gradually ease. Shi Shujing was so embarrassed in front of him that he could only be thankful that he did not vomit on him. When he looked down, he found that his shirt was stained with some filth. He must have accidentally spilled it on his leg. This was troublesome. At the hotel, Shi Shujing took a shower and washed away the stench on his body. He smelled good and walked out of the bathroom. Si Wenxin had just taken a bottle of whiskey and 2 goblets from the fridge. He turned back and smiled at her. "I'm done." Shi Shujing quickly averted his gaze. "Why aren't you wearing anything?" "The clothes have been washed, the new ones haven't arrived yet. Could it be that I have to wear yours?" You don't bring your luggage? In fact, for the sake of this trip, Si Wenchen had worked overtime until 4 o'clock last night. He had only slept for 3 hours before rushing over. How could he have the mood to tidy up? He poured himself a glass of whiskey, took a sip, and responded calmly. I'm too lazy to bring it. So willful. Shi Shujing thought. I'm very sorry about what happened just now. I didn't expect that it would happen to you. Shi Shujing felt very embarrassed. He was a neat freak. Not to mention that the smell was bad, it was quite awkward when everyone in the car was looking at him. Si Wenchen did not mind and looked at the bottle of whiskey. This bottle of whiskey is not bad. The price is above average. It was opened in your room. It will be on your bill as compensation. His words had a hint of ridicule. He did not smile, but the corners of his beautiful eyes were raised. He looked high-spirited and obviously did not take it to heart. Our room will be reimbursed. You mean you want to use other ways to compensate me? Everyone is staying in the hotel. It's not good for you to stay here. It will cause misunderstandings. You better go back first. Si Wenchen raised his eyebrows. You're asking me to leave like this? When will the clothes be sent over? Should I call and urge them? It sounds like you really mind that I'm staying here. What? Is it so uncomfortable to stay with me? That's not what I mean. I just feel that. Shi Shujing pursed his lips and blushed. It's a bad influence. Don't you think that you're too important? Do you think that you're the center of the world and everyone is paying attention to you? The female colleagues in my company are very gossipy. They are already talking about you when you're sitting beside me. Now that you're in my room, they must think that we're... What are you talking about? The blush on Shi Shujing's face became even more intense. A clear conscience is not afraid of a crooked shadow. What's there to be afraid of if you haven't done anything? If you keep giving yourself pressure, sooner or later, you'll be crushed by your own imagination. Si Wenchen did not use a preaching tone. Instead, he was guiding him patiently, like a good teacher and helpful friend. How many times have I said this? You're living for yourself. Whatever others say or do, just treat it as bullsh*t. For those who don't like you, no matter how well you do, they will still have a reason to slander you. Why do you have to please them? But if we keep our distance, at least they won't be able to slander me. That's where you're wrong. The most destructive thing is not the truth but the rumors. With so many mouths, who knows what will happen in the end? Don't worry, those people won't be able to affect your life in the slightest. Shi Shujing secretly thought that he could be so open-minded because he had the capital, but she didn't. She lived in the midst of rumors. She might not be cautious about everything, but she definitely couldn't act recklessly. Thank you, Boss C, for your comfort. I'm just a little woman, so I'm always sensitive and suspicious. I don't want to stir up so much trouble. Si Wenchen knew that she would say this. What should be said should not be said before going too far. Shi Shujing's overcautious character would often cause him to encounter obstacles when he tried to further develop his relationship. The knock on the door made Shi Shujing feel relieved and she hurriedly said, It should be to send clothes. I'll go and get it for you. The clothes were all packed in high-class gift boxes, and the shirts were neatly ironed. Shi Shujing handed a shirt to Si Wenchen. As soon as he put it on, his phone rang. He asked Shi Shujing to help him get the phone. Si Wenchen glanced at the phone and signaled Shi Shujing to help him put on the shirt. Mom. Well, I'm free. Tell me. He urged with his eyes. Shi Shujing had to go over unwillingly and fasten the buttons anxiously. I'm on a business trip in Wuxia City. Si Wenchen lowered his head and looked at Shi Shujing. She was like a shy deer. Her face was as red as a tomato. He suspected that she would explode at any time. I know. Don't send Tang Tang here. I said it's impossible between us. Shi Shujing pricked up her ears. She had a feeling that he said this deliberately for her to hear. I'm done with her. You know I have someone in my heart now. It's not as complicated as you think. His heart exuded a hint of sweetness. Okay. I got it. That's all. I'm busy. I'll talk to you later. When he hung up the phone, Shi Shujing had just fastened the last button. Her eyes met Si Wenchen's firm chin. The sculpture-like edges were pointing at him. It was so clear and three-dimensional as if it was carved by a knife. God was really a gift to him. Feeling that he was also looking at her, Shi Shujing hurriedly took a step back and put her hands behind her. It's done. Si Wenchen took a look. It was done, but the bottom button was missing, so all the buttons were out of place. He twitched the corner of his mouth and teased. You didn't help Qin Baiyuan put on the shirt before? Shi Shujing then realized that the shirt had grown out. She felt very embarrassed. Si Wenxin had to undo all the buttons and fasten them again. I'm sorry? I didn't see the last button? Really? Then what's your focus? Are you free tonight? Let's have dinner together? Sure, Shujing was willing, but she knew that she had to reject him. I have to read the documents tonight. I have a meeting at the branch office tomorrow. I'm not free. Oh, I'm treating all the employees of Blue Sky to dinner tonight. Are you sure you want to be absent as the manager? Dinner? He was not referring to a dinner for the two of them. Yes. The hotel has been booked. Someone will contact you later. I still have something to do. I'll take my leave first. Si Wenxin walked a few steps in a carefree manner before turning back. Oh, I forgot to tell you that I've booked a room next to yours. Just like that, he casually dropped a heavy bomb on them. That's not good, right? You're doing it again? Si Wenxin teased. You're representing Blue Sky to contact me directly. Isn't it more convenient for us to stay closer? Sure, Shujing, don't tell me you still have feelings for me? Did he mean that he no longer had feelings for her? Sure, Shujing felt as though her heart had been cut by a knife. In order to protect her pitiful self-esteem, she was stubborn. I don't. Then there's nothing to worry about. Si Wenxin left after he finished speaking. The sound of the door closing made Sure Shujing feel disappointed. Sure, Shujing did not want to attend the dinner tonight. But at the last moment she changed her mind. Perhaps it was because she was afraid that others would misunderstand her guilt, or perhaps she wanted to prove to Si Wenxin that he no longer had any influence on her, or perhaps. In any case, there were many reasons, but she still went in the end. She booked a Cantonese restaurant. It was Zhang Shishir's private cuisine, which was famous all over the country. Shark fin, seafood, abalone and so on were ridiculously expensive. However, there were many rich people, so the business was still booming. Sure, Shujing had booked a restaurant once when she had to entertain a Hong Kong guest. The booking time was 3 months, but Si Wenxin managed to book it on the same day. The restaurant was not big and there were only 2 tables of customers at Blue Sky. Sure, Shujing arrived a little late. The other employees had already arrived, and they were looking at her with a strange gaze. Zhang Jing was munching on melon seeds and quickly waved at her. You're here. Fortunately, I reserved seats for you. Our table is better. There are only 12 people. It'll be more crowded if there's one more person over there. Did you put on makeup? Yes, is it very thick? Zhang Jing quickly wiped it with her hands. I didn't put on much makeup. However, I'm not the only one who put on makeup. As long as it's a woman, all of them put on makeup. Sure, Shujing smiled. Of course, she knew who all the ladies were dressing up for. Mr. C is indeed Mr. C. He's too extravagant. Zhang Shishir's private cuisine is all expensive seafood. I heard that a table costs 88,888 renminbi. Blue Sky's dinner is just an ordinary hotel, and the treatment isn't as good. As the superior, Sure Shujing couldn't help but tease. Chapter 157. Zhang Jing stuck out her tongue. No. Blue Sky is good. General Manager is even better. I am loyal to Blue Sky and heaven and earth can bear witness. I will never change my mind. Sure, Shujing could not help but laugh. In fact, she was only 2 or 3 years older than Zhang Jing, but compared to her, she felt old. Her mentality was especially old. A girl in her 20s should be warm and lovely, but she felt that she was boring. Si Wenxin arrived at 7 p.m. on time, but he still said that he was late and asked everyone to wait. He punished himself by drinking 3 glasses of wine. The staff were flattered. Not to mention that Si Wenxin was not late. Even if he was late, there was no need for him to give them face. It was not like he was entertaining some high-ranking government officials. This 80,000 renminbi dinner was enough to prove his sincerity. In the beginning they were afraid of his identity and everyone was very reserved. However, Si Wenxin didn't have the airs of a boss at all. His attitude was very friendly and he could talk and laugh with anyone. In addition, after drinking some wine, everyone slowly got to know each other. The atmosphere at the dining table was very good. Sure, Shujing also drank a few glasses of wine, and when she was tipsy, she looked at Si Wenxin. His eyes were like stars and it made her even more drunk. Perhaps it was her illusion, but she felt that he was the only one staring at her, and it made her feel hot all over. She avoided his gaze and chatted with Zhang Jing, but she couldn't help but look at him. Among so many people, he was the only one who was eye-catching, and he firmly attracted her gaze. She was in a trance, wondering if this man who seemed to be unreachable really had anything to do with her in the past. After going to the bathroom, she went outside to get some fresh air. The summer night was a little windy and it made her dizzy. Her legs were weak and she could only lean against the wall. Si Wenxin came out to smoke, and when he walked over, he blew a smoke ring at her. The air was filled with a faint scent of nicotine. His smell was unbelievably good and she was fascinated. "Are you drunk?" Shi Shujing said weakly. "A little." "You didn't drink much either." "I can't hold my liquor well, unlike you," she counted, and he drank at least 20 glasses. His expression didn't change, but the smell of alcohol was very strong. "Not really, I'm a little drunk." Si Wenxin looked at her through the smoke. The wine didn't intoxicate her, but she was intoxicated. The alcohol was fermenting between the two of them. Shi Shujing felt that it would be dangerous to stay here any longer. "Well, take your time. I'll go in first." However, after taking a step, her legs turned to jelly, and she fell directly into Si Wenxin's arms. Her head bumped into his overly strong muscles and she felt dizzy again. Si Wenxin held her arm. "Will it work?" It's all right." "I'm fine." Shi Shujing shook his head. His face was flushed and his eyes were squinting from drunkenness. He looked a little funny. "If you go back, they will definitely force you to drink again. I'll send you back to the hotel." "No need. I can still do it." Shi Shujing was still trying to be brave, but in fact, his head was spinning. "You're the main character today. You can't leave. It's not appropriate for the two of us to leave together. They're all drunk. Who's going to care about you? I'll send you back." Si Wenxin snuffed out the cigarette. Shi Shujing struggled for a while. "So, I really don't need to." She felt nauseous and quickly covered her mouth. She almost vomited. "I swear, if you vomit on me again, I'll definitely ask for compensation from you." He turned around and squatted down in front of her. "Come up, I'll carry you." "That's not good. I can walk by myself." Si Wenxin directly hugged her buttocks and pressed them against his body. In just a few moves she was carried on his back. She hung on his body like a koala, innocently wrapping her arms around his neck, afraid that she would fall off. "Hold on tight." He straightened his body and supported her firmly with his hands. Shi Shujing could not help but stick to his back. It was as if she could still hear his heartbeat, which was as steady as his footsteps. Shi Shujing had forgotten how she got back to the hotel. Anyway, when she woke up, she was in her room. Seeing that it was still early, only 8 o'clock, her stomach was already growling with hunger. The meeting was scheduled at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so she had the entire morning to herself. When she went downstairs for breakfast, she met Zhang Jing. "Manager, why did you disappear without saying a word last night?" "Yeah. I drank a little too much, so I went back to the hotel." "With Mr. C?" Zhang Jing smiled slyly. Shi Shujing swallowed a mouthful of egg. Her chest was choked with pain and she looked away guiltily. "No, I came back by myself." "Liar. You were so drunk, it would be strange if you could come back by yourself. Moreover, when you left, Mr. C also disappeared. They must have slipped away together. No wonder you were so kind to invite us to dinner. It turns out that you have an ulterior motive." Zhang Jing was gossipy like Gao Zhuqin, but she was not Gao Zhuqin, so Shi Shujing shook her head to deny it. "I came back by myself, it's just a coincidence." Only you know whether it's a coincidence or not." Shi Shujing put on a straight face. "Are you so free? Have you prepared the design for the meeting in the afternoon? You still have to make a speech, have you memorized it? You have time to gossip, but no time to work?" Zhang Jing stuck out her tongue to surrender. "Enough, I'm going to work, you eat slowly." Shi Shujing was not in the mood to eat breakfast. Last night, Zhang Jing noticed that they left together and other people must have noticed it too. She did not know what they would say in private. It must be very unpleasant. She did not particularly care about other people's opinions, but she did not want it to be spread back to Flozen City, to Qin Baiyuan, and she was too lazy to quarrel with him. More importantly, she was afraid that Qin Yuning would know that her current body could not withstand a little bit. Without much time to worry, a hand touched the top of her head. Shi Shujing looked up and saw that it was Si Wenxin, who sat down opposite her. "Morning." Shi Shujing's little heart tightened. "Morning, morning. Did you sleep well last night?" Si Wenxin called the waiter over and ordered an American-style breakfast. He crossed his legs in a very casual manner. "I fell asleep as soon as I lay on the bed, not even dreaming. Did you send me back to my room?" "Yes." When Shi Shujing woke up in the morning, she was wearing the clothes from last night, so she was very sure that nothing had happened. "Sorry to trouble you." "It's no trouble at all." Si Wenxin said without looking up, holding the phone in one hand. Then, did I say anything that I shouldn't have said last night that offended you? What are you referring to? Only then did he shift his gaze away from the text on his phone and look at her. He looked serious but not serious at all. It was the kind of relationship that was neither distant nor warm. It was just a normal working relationship. I don't know. Anyway, I shouldn't have said it. No. He lowered his head again. It seemed that the text message was quite important, so he replied. Oh, sure. Shujing was still not assured. After struggling for a long time, she asked hesitantly. Should we talk about what happened in the car that day? What happened? Breakfast was served. Si Wenxin nodded with a smile. He was so excited that the waiter almost fainted. Please enjoy. He took a sip of coffee and looked at Shi Shujing again. Tell me what happened. It's the kiss you gave me. Didn't we already have nothing to do with each other? She chose her words carefully. It's not good for you to do that. She looked calm on the surface, but her hands under the table were pinching her thighs so hard that they were bruising. I couldn't help it. What's wrong with that? Couldn't help it? Shi Shujing couldn't help but murmur. Yes, it was sunny that day and the atmosphere was good. You were beautiful too. I saw you leaning on my shoulder, so obedient, and your lips were covered with a layer of honey. It was so sweet that I couldn't help it. No matter what, it's not right, especially in front of so many people. If I made you unhappy, I apologize. So, should we talk about the kiss last night? Shi Shujing's face turned from red to white as if he was struck by lightning. Last night? Yes. You kissed me forcefully last night. Have you forgotten? Shi Shujing thought to himself. You must be joking. How could I kiss you forcefully? But at this moment, some fragmented memory surfaced. Back to last night. Si Wenxin carried Shi Shujing back to the hotel. She was lying on his back and mumbling something. Give me the room card. The person on his back didn't move, so Si Wenxin had to put her down first. Room card? What is it? Room card. In my bag. Shi Shujing didn't have any strength and was in a daze. She could only lean on his shoulder. Si Wenxin took out the room card from her bag and opened the door. He supported her with one hand and placed her on the bed. Shi Shujing was very thin and light, but it took him a lot of effort to come back. There was a layer of sweat on his forehead. He pulled open his shirt, revealing a slender neck that was stained with sweat. The person on the bed was rolling around restlessly, which made Si Wenxin laugh. He went to the bathroom to wring out a towel and came out with one hand to support her body and wipe her sweat. Shi Shujing's whole body was soft and weak. She only felt that the embrace was unusually warm, which made her feel at ease. She opened her eyes in a daze. The face in front of her was cold and hard, but it looked gentle under the light. There was a kind of gentle handsomeness, handsome and hazy at the same time. His thin lips produced a pleasant voice. Be good, don't, Dad? Si Wenxin found it funny. Look clearly, am I your dad? She frowned. If you're not Dad, why are you so nice to me? I want to know too. You are. Si Wenxin? He raised his eyebrows. I'm glad you recognized me. Shi Shujing struggled slightly, twitched her mouth and mumbled uneasily. Don't touch me. I hate you. Don't touch me. She was as soft as cotton and had no strength to struggle at all. However, she kept rubbing against Si Wenxin's arms. Don't move. Go away. I don't want you to care about me. Be obedient. Si Wenxin grabbed both of her wrists and pressed her down on the bed. However, he did not really use any force. He was just pretending to scare her. His face was stern. If you do this again, I'll beat you up. Shi Shujing pursed her lips and began to sob. Damn it. Why are you crying? You bullied me. Si Wenxin was speechless. When did I bully you? Chapter 158. Fine. I won't be fierce anymore, okay? I was wrong. Don't cry. Not only are you fierce to me, but you're also very bad to me, very bad. Shi Shujing's eyes were as red as a rabbit's, and her lips were pursed as if she had been wronged. My life has been disrupted by you. You're so annoying. Are you sure you're doing well? It's none of your business. I'm unlucky to meet you. You've disrupted my life. Qin Baiyuan doesn't treat me well. What does that have to do with you? At least I'm Mrs. Qin. I love him. Si Wenxin's eyes narrowed and the veins on his forehead bulged. You love him? Say that again? It hurts. Let go of me. You love him? Why can't I love him? Shi Shujing twisted her body and kicked her legs. He's always been my dream. I married him shamelessly, hoping that one day I can touch him with my love, and he will fall in love with me. Wake up! That scumbag doesn't deserve your love. Si Wenchen was so angry that he cursed. Even if she was drunk and talking nonsense, the fact that she said she loved Qin Baiyuan made him so angry that he wanted to break her slender neck. He's a scumbag. How much better are you? Shi Shujing's face was stubborn, and she arched her body and roared. You're so bossy, you only know how to force me, she sobbed softly. But my heart. Why can't it listen to me? Why do I love you? You ignore me, I feel so sad. You're a bad person. You bully me. Si Wenchen's anger was extinguished in an instant. Instead, it was replaced by a heart full of tenderness and a trace of joy in his eyes. What did you say? You like me? I like you. I like you very much. But you make me sad. She grabbed his hand and put it on her heart. Here, it hurts. I'm dying. Help me. What should I do? It hurts. She cried like an aggrieved child, and Si Wenchen's heart was about to break. It's my fault, baby. I shouldn't have made your heart ache. It's my fault. Forgive me, okay? The face that had appeared countless times in her dreams was now right in front of her. Shi Shujing's face was blushing as she touched the outline of his face in a daze. Is that you? Is it really you? She asked very softly, as if he would disappear if she raised her voice. It's me, baby, it's me. Don't leave me again, okay? She stammered, looking very pitiful. Don't leave me, please. Shi Shujing wrapped her arms around Si Wenchen's neck, and her lips that were filled with the smell of alcohol gently pressed against his. This was one of the few times that Si Wenchen could remember that she took the initiative to kiss him. He was surprised, or perhaps it was a pleasant surprise that made him pause for a moment, but he immediately took the initiative. He held the back of her head with one hand and pulled her toward him, turning from passive to active as he gently kissed her lips. But at this time the person below him suddenly stopped moving. When he pushed her away, he found that she had fallen asleep. She should be the first person to fall asleep while kissing. Si Wenchen didn't know if he should cry or laugh. In short, he was speechless. But looking at her tipsy little face and the red color on her thin skin, he felt that he was in a good mood. He couldn't help but raise the corner of his mouth. He sighed helplessly and got off the bed. He adjusted her terrible sleeping position and then gently covered her with the blanket. He walked to the bathroom and took a cold shower for half an hour. After the shower, Shi Shujing was in a deep sleep. Her face was pillowed on the back of her hand and her body was slightly curled up. She was very obedient, like a cute little animal. He finally believed that a man would eventually meet a woman who could evoke all his tender feelings, even if he thought that he didn't. Worried that she would vomit, Si Wenchen stayed by her side and only returned after midnight. He closed his eyes, but he couldn't sleep. He thought that if she was in his arms at this moment, how good would it be? What happened last night? There were only some fragments in Shi Shujing's mind, and she couldn't piece them together. Do you remember now? While she was recalling, Si Wenchen had already finished his breakfast. Shi Shujing's face was as red as if she had drunk alcohol. Like a child who had done something wrong, she lowered her head and didn't dare to look into his eyes. I was drunk at that time. I don't know what happened. Why didn't you push me away? Why should I push you away? I don't think that any man will push away a woman who takes the initiative to stick to him. Do you really have Lu Xiaohui? Anyway, I'm drunk. You can go back on your words just because you're drunk? You can go and ask China's laws if it's illegal to commit assault after drinking. I didn't commit assault. But you kissed me forcefully. Si Wenchen was very firm, as if she had really committed some crime. He spoke with great certainty and seriousness. You kissed me forcefully. That's not considered assault? Shi Shujing frowned. I've already kissed you. What do you want? Si Wenchen gave a deep smile. Nothing much. You just let me kiss you back. I can't bear this grievance. What grievance? He was obviously enjoying it, all right? She even blamed him for taking advantage of her. Shi Shujing was furious. This man was really despicable. She wished she could scratch his face with her claws. You're saying that I didn't say anything offensive. She remembered that she had said a lot of things that she shouldn't have said. Those are the things that I like to hear. It's not offensive. As for the other things that he didn't like to hear, Si Wenchen automatically ignored them. Anyway, he heard it. She said that she liked him, and she even said it many times. That was enough. That's because I was drunk. I don't know what I said. Si Wenchen took a sip of his coffee. I personally believe that people speak the truth after drinking, especially when they are calm and collected. The more drunk they are, the more likely they are to speak the truth. I have to say that you were really interesting last night. Shi Shujing was getting more and more flustered and couldn't sit still. Anyway, last night was all because of drinking. No matter what happened, it doesn't count. I still have a meeting in the afternoon. I'll go prepare first. She ran away. A pair of smiling eyes was staring at her from behind. There were a total of more than 40 people in the afternoon meeting. There were 15 representatives from the branch company. Si Wenxin was also present. When Shi Shujing arrived, he was already there. She purposely chose a seat that was furthest from him. Obviously, his presence had stirred up the hearts of all the female employees present. Every one of them had a lustful look on their faces. It was as if he was a strong magnetic field that firmly attracted everything around him. The designer from Shi Shujing's side only took half an hour to complete the report. Following that, it was the branch company's representatives who explained the plan. Soon, Shi Shujing realized that she was the only one listening attentively. The female employees who were with her were playing with their phones, exchanging glances with each other and smiling slyly. She also took out her phone and entered the company's intranet. Sure enough, they were having a heated discussion in the group. Mr. C is so handsome. Isn't he? I can't breathe. I used to think that CEO Qin was already the best. Now, I know that Mr. C is the real deal. What a pity. He's so handsome but he's blind. He just had to fall for that little B****. Shi Shujing. I told you that those rumors were not groundless. There's something going on between the two of them. Do I need you to say that? I knew it when I saw it. Shi Shujing looked at Mr. C's gaze. He's so eager, yet he's still putting on an act and pretending to be serious. Just now, when I heard her report with a straight face, I almost vomited the breakfast I had the day before yesterday. Hypocrite. Isn't that right? Cheating and still pretending. Her acting skills are really good. Does she think we're all blind? That B****, she's really bold. CEO Qin doesn't want to touch her. I knew it when I saw her eyes. The more serious she looks, the more chaotic and dirty she is in private. We all know that she's dirty. But what does Mr. C like about her? She's very cunning. We can't learn from her. That's right. How should Shi Shujing describe her current mood when her eyes were filled with unbearable discussions? She didn't particularly mind it, but it didn't mean that she didn't feel anything. Especially when they secretly laughed in front of her, she felt as if her heart was being pricked by needles. They probably all thought she was an idiot. There was a knife on the head of the word, endure. That night, the manager of the branch company invited her to dinner. Shi Shujing couldn't refuse, but she was really tired of dealing with it. Especially when those female colleagues secretly laughed in front of her and said bad things about her on the intranet. She really wanted to go over and ask them to shut up. Halfway through, she went out to answer her mother's call. When she came back, she saw Si Wenxin standing in the corridor, smoking. He leaned against the wall and puffed out clouds of smoke. Shi Shujing didn't look sideways. When she passed by him, she heard his question. Are you in a bad mood? She was now full of resentment towards him. She was in a bad mood and pretended not to hear it. Si Wenxin reached out and grabbed her wrist. I'm talking to you. Oh. Then why did you have a long face all night? She turned around and asked back. There's nothing to be happy about. Should I keep smiling? I'm not selling my smile. What's wrong? Tell me about it. Didn't I say it? Don't be like this. People will misunderstand if they see it. Shi Shujing used all her strength to pull her hand out and went into the private room. She was getting more and more irritated. Even Zhang Jing, who was beside her, could smell that she was angry and asked her what was wrong. Nothing. I still have something to do. I'll leave first. Ah? That's not good, right? You're the representative of our head office. How can you not go? Don't worry. You guys have fun. Help me keep an eye on the karaoke later. If there's any problem, call me. Shi Shujing patted her shoulder and left. When she went out, Si Wenxin happened to come in. The two of them met face to face. Shi Shujing didn't hesitate at all. When she got home, Shi Shujing took a shower. She took out her mobile phone and logged into the intranet. They were still talking about her endlessly. Their words were as bad as it could be. Ding dong, the doorbell rang. Shi Shujing took a look through the peephole and saw that it was Si Wenxin outside the door. She opened the door a little and looked at him warily. Didn't you go to karaoke? Si Wenxin and the supervisor had drunk some baijiu. At this moment, their faces were red, and their ties were untied. I missed you. Shi Shujing's hand on the doorknob tightened. You drank too much. No, that little bit of alcohol can't make me drunk. Chapter 159. You didn't eat, so I packed supper for you. Si Wenchen held a paper bag in his hand and waved it in front of her. I'm not hungry. You can go. She was about to close the door, but Si Wenchen easily held the door with one hand to stop her. However, he still stood at the door and did not force his way in. Shi Shujing was afraid of clamping his hand, so she did not dare to use too much force. She was a little anxious. What do you want? If you don't mind, we can continue to stay like this. But someone is coming back. If you don't mind being seen, are you threatening me? I'm thinking for you. I'm not worried. Shi Shujing had no choice but to let go. Although he let Si Wenchen go, Shi Shujing was very angry. She closed the door and followed him. What do you want? I just want to have a meal with you. Why are you so nervous? Si Wenchen squinted at her. It seemed that she was having a stress reaction. Do you think I can eat you up? There are so many eyes watching. Can't you pay attention to your image? You're always like this. You come and do whatever you want. Have you ever considered my situation? What's wrong with me? Si Wenchen felt wronged. Shi Shujing had a lot of grievances, but she could not say it. In fact, in front of other colleagues, Si Wenchen did not do anything out of line. His attitude towards her was similar to that of other colleagues. She simply thought that they had been in contact with each other in private. We should keep our distance. I don't think your attitude is helpful to our cooperation. What are you bothered about? Aren't you asking the obvious? What do I mind? I have too many things to mind. Shi Shujing's anger was stifled and she vented it all out. Do you know what they say about me behind my back? They call me a whore. Do you think it's nice? She grabbed her phone and shoved it in front of him angrily. Look at what they are saying. Si Wenchen glanced at it casually, and a ripple appeared on his brow. I only see a bunch of jealous women with sour grapes. Is it worth it for you to be so angry? They were scolding me, so of course I'm angry. Do you understand the feeling of being laughed at by colleagues behind your back? I don't want to see them, but I can't help it. I'm thinking about what other terrible things they will say. I'm going crazy. Shi Shujing had been suppressing her emotions for too long and was on the verge of losing control. Si Wenchen walked over and held her shoulders. Look at me. I don't know. I feel like I'm drowned by the public opinion. Everyone hates me. I'm like an unforgivable sinner. I've made an unforgivable mistake. Si Wenchen held her shoulders tightly. I told you to look at me, Shi Shujing. She looked at him, but her eyes were messy and bewildered. They talk about you behind your back because they don't understand you. You are a good woman, you know that very well. But, if I'm a good woman, why would I do such a thing? Everyone has a past and the road is walked step by step. You're just constantly adjusting and choosing the person who's more suitable for you. Don't let other people's views become your shackles. Are you willing to be trapped in a painful marriage for some insignificant people for the rest of your life? You didn't let anyone down and you don't want to let anyone down. You just want to live up to your own heart, understand? Under his comfort, Shi Shujing's agitated emotions gradually calmed down. She regretted losing her temper at him. I'm sorry. I've been suppressing it for too long. I feel terrible in my heart. I understand. Si Wenchen wanted to hug her, but perhaps at this time, that kind of hug would still be too intimate for her to resist. In the end, he only touched her head. You don't have to suppress it anymore. If you're unhappy, just tell me, even if you're angry. It's said that people usually only lose their temper to the people closest to them, because they know that no matter what, he will not leave them, and it gives them a sense of security. But for him, did she have the right to be so capricious? Shi Shujing wasn't sure, but after venting all her emotions just now, her mood did improve. I heard that hunger can also make people grumpy. Eating something might make them feel better. Shi Shujing laughed, and for a moment her temper was gone. Anyway, in front of him, no matter how big the trouble was, it was not a problem. Taking out the lunch box from the paper bag, Si Wenchen took Shi Shujing's notebook to use. She placed the bowls and chopsticks on the table and asked, "Is there an emergency at the company?" "You'll know in a moment." Si Wenchen stared at the screen, and his fingers flew across the keyboard. When Shi Shujing came back after drying his hair, he turned the screen to her. "This is the internet? How did it become like this?" The entire page was garbled and she couldn't speak even after typing twice. "Nothing, I just randomly planted a virus and now the system is paralyzed." Shi Shujing's mouth was wide open, and her face was full of disbelief. You're a hacker? I used to play for a period of time when I was bored in university, and I even won a prize. In front of her, Si Wenchen was a little proud like a child. This is just a small case. She was full of admiration. She was a girl and she always admired those computer experts. She also had a kind of blind worship for hackers, especially for people like her, who didn't even know how to restore with one click, and would forcibly shut down the phone when there was a problem. But, will they suspect that it was me? It's normal for tourists to visit some illegal websites, and it's normal for them to bring in viruses. You let them go, and I did it quietly so no one will suspect you. What the eye doesn't see, the heart doesn't grieve. She gave him an amused look. Can't they just build another intranet after blocking this intranet? As long as it's their phone, they can't build any intranet. The phone itself carries a virus, and wherever it goes, it will be paralyzed. Shi Shujing raised an eyebrow. So magical? You think it's magical, but to me it's not challenging at all. If you want to take revenge, I can dig out all the secrets in their phone, and I believe there will be a lot of explosive news. She shook her head. That's too wicked. In fact, the intranet is not the most important thing but their opinion. Their mouths are on them and they can say whatever they want. Can you seal their mouths? As long as you agree, I can find someone to deal with them once and for all. Forget it, I'm afraid I'll have nightmares at night. But still, thank you, it's really quiet. Let's eat, it's getting cold. Shi Shujing had only sipped a few mouthfuls of wine that night, and now her stomach was growling with hunger. She had a big appetite among the girls and she was not very tolerant of hunger. As soon as her body relaxed, she felt hungry. The two of them ate together and Shi Shujing ate very quickly. Si Wenchen advised, you have a weak stomach. Eat slowly, it's not easy to digest. How do you know that I have a weak stomach? Si Wenchen smiled and did not say anything. He did not say that night when he sat downstairs of Gao Zhuqing's house until midnight, he saw Qin Baiyuan looking for her, heard them arguing, and then went to buy her stomach medicine. When he saw them sitting in the car, he felt extremely uncomfortable. He felt like he was being tortured to death. Luckily, the two of them did not act too intimately and Qin Baiyuan's face was dark. He guessed that she did not say anything nice, so he did not rush forward to grab Qin Baiyuan out of the car and beat him up. There were a lot of things on his mind, but when it came to his mouth he just said it lightly. What don't I know about you? You know everything about me but I don't know anything about you. It was an unintentional sentence, and Shi Shujing only realized what she had said after she said it, and then she fell silent. Si Wenchen's chopsticks paused and he looked at her eyes. Whatever you want to know, I will tell you. She was confused and she avoided his eyes. I'm hungry, let's eat. The two of them reached for the drumstick at the same time, but Shi Shujing was a step too late, and he retracted his hand. Si Wenchen picked up the chicken and put it in her bowl. You eat, you were the one who picked it up first. I want to give you the best of everything. Si Wenchen didn't say any more sweet nothings. Even though he was filled with tenderness right now, he felt that it really didn't matter what he ate. Who he ate with was the most important. He was used to going to high-end restaurants and enjoying the best service, but it still couldn't compare to eating takeout in a hotel room with her. His eyes never moved away from her as if she was the dish. He looked at her when he was drinking and he looked at her when he was eating. In short, Si Wenchen could not get enough of her. Shi Shujing felt that a layer of his scalp was going to fall off from his stare, and he was very shy. The dish tastes good. Si Wenchen pursed his lips and her taste was even more wonderful. I still remember, you owe me a meal. That was so long ago, how can you still remember it? Shouldn't that wise brain of his be remembering more important things? As long as you have the heart, time is not a problem. Then, next time, don't do it again. I'm free tomorrow, the day after, any day. Shi Shujing smiled. There will be a chance. The two of them chatted on and off. After dinner, Shi Shujing rubbed her round belly. She was very full. Too full? Si Wenchen, on the other hand, did not eat much and started to clean up the mess. Leave it. I'll do it. Don't move. Shi Shujing tried to snatch it back, but she lost her balance and fell on his lap. She tried to get up but was held down by Si Wenchen. His arms were around her waist and she struggled a few times, but she could not push him away. Let go. You're always like this. You're the one who provoked me, but you're telling me to let go. Are you messing with me? I was careless. If you're careless every time, then it means that I'm very attractive to you. You'll subconsciously want me to get close to you. No? It's just an accident. Shi Shujing was like a little sparrow that was struggling wildly. She wanted to stand up, but she couldn't muster any strength and her legs felt like jelly. Can you let go of me first? Si Wenqin smiled. Not good. You. Chapter 160. Your body is very soft. Si Wenqin moved closer to her ear and sniffed her scent. I like your scent too. It's very comfortable to hug. That's the scent of the shower gel? No, it's your scent. He probably liked her because he was moved by the scent on her body. He knew where it came from. I like your scent, and I like to hug you. The feeling that he had not felt for a long time made him miss her even more than he thought. Si Wenqin, don't be like this. We're already over. Shi Shujing's hands were pressed against his chest and it was very difficult for her to put some distance between the two of them. She understood that whether it was her body or her heart, she had no ability to resist him, so she should have kept her distance from him from the beginning, otherwise she would be hopelessly trapped. Over? When did I say it's over? In the corridor of the hospital. I said it very clearly. That's what you said. Do you know what I think? Si Wenqin let go of her arm and pinched her chin. He looked at her with a burning gaze. Between us it's never over. Don't be like this. I don't want to make the same mistake twice. It's proven that we can't be together. It's meaningless for you to pester me like this. Is it wrong to like someone? Is it wrong to be unable to control one's feelings? Then tell me what's right. Is it right to continue to suffer in a wrong marriage? That's my problem. I can't afford to play your game. I never spend time and energy on a game. You know very well whether I'm serious or just playing with you. I'm not sure. Shi Shujing's eyes turned red. She felt very wronged for a moment. You suddenly ignored me and didn't even want to see me. You have another woman by your side so quickly. What do you expect me to think? Yes. I mentioned ending it, but how could you forget about it the moment you turned around and treat me so coldly? It's as if nothing had happened. You made me so embarrassed and helpless. You have too many women by your side and there are many like me. I'm timid, selfish and weak. Why should I be your exception? I really feel inferior when I'm with you. I'm afraid that I'm not worthy of you. I'm afraid that I'll become your shame. For the past few days she had been in great pain and had frequent nightmares. She had only said that they wanted to break up because his sudden visit to the hospital had disturbed her heart and made her feel flustered. That was why she had made such an irrational decision in a moment of anger. Si Wenqin's heart was about to break. He let go of her chin and held her face. Silly girl, you have never been my shame. You are the woman I like. I admit that I acted on impulse. I was just angry that you didn't care about me. Otherwise it wouldn't have ended so easily. I was angry with you, but I never thought of letting go, not even for a second. I'm just thinking that perhaps with some distance, you'll be able to recognize your heart more clearly. Shi Shujing smiled bitterly. But I feel terrible. I miss you every day, but I know I shouldn't. I force myself not to think about you, but all I can see is you. My brain seems to have gone crazy. There's only you. I don't know what's wrong with me. I miss you so much that it hurts. I'm suffocating. That's because you love me, baby. Si Wenqin smiled. If this can make you feel better, I also miss you crazily all the time. Every time I see you, I want to kiss you. God knows how much strength I have to use to control myself and pretend to be indifferent to you. He pulled her little hand to his heart. Feel it? It hurts here because you. What should we do? I don't want to let my father-in-law down, but my heart has already lost control. Si Wenqin sighed. I understand your concerns, but his situation is already like that. Do you really want to ruin your own happiness? Shi Shujing shook his head. All right, I won't force you. Find a suitable time to talk to him. Before that, I'll wait for you. But I don't want to torture each other anymore. Being indifferent to you will hurt my heart. Si Wenqin looked at her affectionately. Let's make up, okay? Although he knew he should refuse, Shi Shujing still nodded involuntarily. Good. Si Wenqin kissed her lips and slowly smoothed her eyebrows. Don't frown. Makes my heart ache. Shi Shujing bit his lips and pouted. Isn't it all because of you? I'm wrong. Beat me to vent your anger? As he spoke, he grabbed her little hand and slapped his face. Shi Shujing hurriedly retracted his hand. Don't? Not angry anymore? What's there to be angry about? I'm the one who said it's over. You're the one who should be angry. Shi Shujing was now full of self-blame. I'm sorry. I won't say such things in the future. All right. Let's turn this page. Actually, it's not bad to quarrel occasionally. It can improve our relationship. If it wasn't for this, you wouldn't know how much you love me. Si Wenxin pinched her pretty little nose. Little girl, you love to torment me. So what if I am? Relationships are always noisy. Shi Shujing raised his chin. Could it be that uncle is old and can't bear the torment? What did you call me? Uncle? Wow. I don't like this title. Makes me sound old. Si Wenxin's lips curled up into a very evil smile. Call me daddy? You're so annoying. She pouted coquettishly, which melted Si Wenxin's bones. He held the back of her head and directly covered her lips with his. I love you, Shi Shujing. I love you. Si Wenxin kissed her while confessing his love. His voice was like poison, numbing Shi Shujing's nerves. I love you too, don't move. I want you. Si Wenxin grabbed her wrist and pulled it to the top of her head. He smiled deeply and continued to kiss her earlobe. Don't do this. I feel terrible. Shi Shujing wriggled her body and spoke in a soft tone. But at this moment the doorbell rang. At first, Shi Shujing didn't hear it, but later on the frequency increased. She suddenly woke up and anxiously pushed against the door. Don't, stop, someone's here, don't bother about him. Si Wenxin continued to kiss her deeply. Because of her resistance, his actions became a little rough. I can't. Shi Shujing turned her face away and didn't let him kiss her. She was panting. Did you order room service? No. Then it must be a colleague looking for me. Her resistance made Si Wenxin very unhappy. When he was in the midst of passion, he was splashed with a bucket of ice water. It was very disappointing. He frowned and looked at her. Just don't bother about it. If I don't open the door, they will keep ringing. There must be something urgent. Si Wenxin cursed in English and got up reluctantly. Can't there be one time when there are so many things? Shi Shujing ignored him and hurriedly tidied up her clothes and hair. You'll be seen here. Hide first. Am I so shameful? That's right. I'm just so shameful. Hey, get up quickly. Shi Shujing forcefully pulled Si Wenxin up from the sofa. Don't dawdle. Ding dong. Ding dong. The doorbell urged him a few more times. Hurry. Hurry into the bathroom. Shi Shujing hurriedly pushed him into the bathroom. Just hide here and don't make a sound. I'll call you when they're gone. Wait. Si Wenxin grabbed her arm and brought it into his arms. He kissed her hard on her lips. His eyes were like those of a wolf, and they were fiercely inhaling hot air. You've wronged me. You have to make it up to me tonight. That kiss made Shi Shujing dizzy. He calmed himself down and tidied up his hair in front of the mirror before opening the door. Zhang Jing held the door with one hand and clasped her legs together. She stood at the door with a distorted expression. Her face was flushed. Why did you take so long to open the door? I almost suffocated to pee. She rushed in hurriedly. Shi Shujing remembered that Si Wenxin was still in the bathroom and hurriedly pulled her back. No, you can't go in. I need to pee. I've drunk too much. The bathroom is leaking. It's all over the floor. I can't care so much. I really can't. Shi Shujing stood in front of her. There's water all over the floor. You'll slip. Go back to your room and use the bathroom. I'm going to faint. My bladder is about to explode. Zhang Jing grabbed her lower abdomen with one hand and looked very embarrassed. She glanced at the plastic bag on the coffee table. Who did you have dinner with? I was alone. Shi Shujing was flustered. How can a person eat so much food? I'm hungry. Don't worry about it. Don't you need to go to the bathroom? Go back to your room. What bad luck. I wanted to talk to you after I went to the bathroom. Forget it next time. Shi Shujing breathed a sigh of relief. She leaned against the door and adjusted her breathing. Just when she was about to call Si Wenxin, the doorbell rang again. She was speechless. Why are you back again? However, the person outside the door was not Zhang Jing but Qin Baiyuan. Shi Shujing screamed instinctively. Why are you here? Qin Baiyuan's hair was messy and he looked travel-worn. His face was as black as the king of hell. He looked at her gloomily. What's with your expression? You look like you've seen a ghost. As she said, she was about to walk in with a murderous look. Shi Shujing moved sideways to block her. Don't come in. Why can't I go in? Shi Shujing swallowed her saliva and tried to hide her panic. This is my room. What gives you the right to come in? Qin Baiyuan sensed that something was wrong. The corner of his mouth twitched coldly, and his eyes were as sharp as a knife. Is there someone hiding in there? No. I just don't want you to come in. I'll know when I go in. After saying that, he pushed her away rudely and barged in. He threw the suitcase on the ground and began to rummage in the room. He opened the wardrobe and checked under the bed. "What are you doing?" Shi Shujing tugged at him, but he pushed her away with a backhand. "Get lost." Shi Shujing staggered 2 steps back. As soon as she steadied herself, she went up to him and pushed him again. "Qin Baiyuan, is there something wrong with your brain? What gives you the right to barge into my room?" His eyes fell on the paper bag and he suddenly tensed up. "Are you eating together? I don't know what you're talking about. Don't play dumb." He grabbed her wrist rudely. "You know who I'm talking about. That you're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.